Sí, no, me preocupo. Yo sé que es muy claro, claro. Yo me voy a hacer una foto, hacer una llamada por no, me escribe. Ah, no. Ese que no vaya a ir. Es el único que no va a ir. Ya porque el próximo año se lo lleva. Dale, no el caso. Bueno, no es como se levanta con pelo, pero imagínate venir a Estados Unidos sin inglés, sin español. Sabía ruso, pero eso así no es rarísimo. Imagínate aprender inglés y español y llegar aquí y no poder ni hablar inglés. Es muy fácil.
Pero sí, tengo una prima que tiene 7 años no bañando.
Pero si te das cuenta es lo que está haciendo.
Con el tiempo, o sea, es un año. 5 años. Tienes que ver como dirección.
Yo tengo asilo porque yo tengo otra cosa me
Ahora, cuando ya ven a la persona, ya la persona tiene ese número de años, ya.
Eso es lógico, pero no es así. No recuerdo cuenta, ¿no?
Spanish, English, English. Bueno, no, intenté no ir para buscando el producto.
Todo está en el
Pero había intentado hacer esto. Sí, entonces no te funcionó. No, entonces ahora estoy en ese proceso otra vez. Encontrar ahora nosotros tenemos un servicio y volver al sitio es una parte ubicar eso claro, pero ya en camino al negocio.
It's under discountmuch.com. I think that's
Yo trabajo en informática por lo menos eso ahí tengo y voy trabajando en esto y no empezar el mercadeo eso es sí, esa es la hay que hacer sí, tiene que hasta que en una se desprenda y entonces
¿Tú de dónde eres? Ah, sí.
yo ¿de qué parte? Estamos vecinos. Precisamente estuve ya para Navidad. ¿Fui de allá?
¿Te la viste? Yo la vi bien.
Sí, o sea, yo concierto mío, pero fíjate que lo primero, yo estuve 2 semanas. Pero ¿cuánto fue? 5 años. Sí, más impactante para mí. Los primeros 5 días yo no sabía nada.
Soy casi asociado.
Claro, y después comencé a salir y ya a la final iba encontrarme con la mitad en un programa, yo iba hay cierto esa mejora cuando después sí, eso era sí, ella me lo dice, yo nada para no, ahora se en todos lados, no hay ese problema de quesos,
Es una locura, ¿verdad?
limpiaron o emigraron para Europa. Lo que sí no tiene, o sea, que hay deterioro en lo que
Pero o sea, es una burbuja, Caracas, fuera, las zonas decentes están mejor cuidadas. Fui para el partido de Ayuntamiento contra Perú, creo que fue, ¿no?
sí, no, no, el interior está más bloqueado, o sea, el interior está más bloqueado. Y ahí está la vacación.
Pero es un bridge.
Reach out to me about anything. Yes, I think they're doing really nice versions.
Yo creo que eso fue porque eso le ayuda a la
Sí, no, no, hay cierta mejora. No, hoy tuve solucionar gente con visión, que llega la gente resolviendo no, no, fui a Tengo que ir a
Sí, claro. ¿En serio? Sí. No, llegué y me di cuenta que un 20% más de yo salí a comer con mi hermano y hacía, comencé a hacer más reuniones en la sí, sí, hay una sazón, no, lo que tenga por o sea, sí, yo me quedo aquí y después me quedo para la social.
Sí.
Bueno, o sea, eso es en todo el mundo. Bueno, los dos. Depende del proyecto. Es que
I enjoy your Instagram. I like that reality versus that's what you needed.
How are you? Adam, nice to meet you. Adam works with me. We spent this one. Learning a few tricks today. Those are the better examples. Well, after it's done, it's better. Yeah, yeah. Not at the moment. So where's the office? Where's your office? Vamos a ver por ahí que hay. Start up at 1. Beginning is gonna be All right, cool. Good to see you.
Okay, look forward to it. Thank you. How was the
That's it, and you let it grow out, it's almost like you're waiting for it or something.
You good? Yeah. What flavor is yours? Oh, same thing. Sometimes they're different flavors.
How are you, man? How was your holiday? It was good. Business-wise was good.
We're trying to do some more. It's hard to get it. Yeah, it's like 1 out of, used to be 1 out of 10, now it's probably 1
Because they wanted a percentage of the sale and the price. I'm like,
we talked about that last
So you're walking out.
He works with another company that we work with.
Well, they also sell products.
How are you, sir? Morning. That's how it
Ready for next week?
Mejor precio que todo el mundo.
This is kids saying
To work on this? Does it just naturally work for you when you turn it on, correct? Just like balance and everything?
Yeah, what's going on, man? I love this shirt. I can't wait to go see it. I can't wait to go see it. We've sold out every single game.
You guys ready? We're gonna get started.
There's a great commercial it's on demand and they've got it out there. It's the person who's kind of walking on something.
Fernando, are you able to pull up the stream just to see if there's any questions?
Things are dropping, it's changing to whatever it is that they're holding in their hand.
You guys ready? Let's get started, guys.
Full house? I got I live in.
Okay.
I'm gonna text you next week.
Okay, absolutely. Hey. All right. I'm gonna switch up from sitting and standing, but thank you everybody for coming out. We got a lot more people messaging that are on the way, so we're gonna get started with the beginner hour in a bit. But again, Happy New Year, everyone. It's our first meetup back in Miami since the new year. There was some confusion as to when we were going to start last Saturday or this one. I should have did a better job at letting everybody know. We try to take 3 weeks off. The last few years, that's fallen to where that third Saturday fell like on the 2nd or the 1st, which no one was coming for that one. But next year, I'll do a little better on the announcements. So if you came towards the meetups towards the end of last year, I was mentioning how we're going to do some different stuff in the beginning of this one. Some of that stuff is not ready to implement. Like we're going to have the sponsors circulating on the TV, so that's more effective for the sponsors and you guys in seeing them. We're not there yet, so I'm going to mention the sponsors that are making this possible today. The other thing is, today we're opening this up for questions and announcements since it's been 3 weeks since we've been here. But starting in our next meetup group here, we're going to have only about 15, 20 minutes for those questions. Obviously, we network afterwards and you can ask. And the rest of that time, we're going to do live product sourcing. It's going to be private label product sourcing, wholesale product sourcing, but I'm going to pull it up on the TV. And we're just going to talk about, is this a good product? Is it not a good product, and why? We're going to give that a shot for a few months just so that I can get some feedback on you guys and see if that's what you prefer, because some of the other beginner hours, like we're going to do in a bit, is kind of like who has a question and we keep asking. I feel like there'll be a lot more benefits for everyone, especially in the beginner hour, and most people in the beginning want to know, like, what should they sell? Is this a good idea? Or what should they add to their product line? A product that's really good on, gracias. A product that's really good on Shopify or another platform does not necessarily mean that it's going to be a good fit on Amazon. So like we'll talk about that. It'll be private label, and we'll also do that for wholesale. So I think that everybody agree that'll be a better fit for the beginner hour. I hope you like it. Really quick on the sponsors, some of our flagship sponsors we have. Some of them you see the banners on the wall, but Getita, Sellersfi, and Carbon 6. Getita's amazing for getting like reimbursements back. I know a lot of you've used them based on our recommendation, and they just like auto-magically get the money back that Amazon owes you and puts it back in your account. I love them. Sellersfi is great for funding if any of you are struggling with funding, which should be most people in here if you're scaling your business. If you can't get anything from the banks, Sellersfi will give you some pretty cool cash advances or some funding based on your sales. So recommend them. Carbon 6, Avask, if you're looking to scale internationally, Avask is the top dog out there for that. And Enzo Brands, Honu Worldwide, on-site support. On-site support, I've recently did some YouTube content on, if you've watched it. I think if you're selling on Amazon, doing wholesale, or if you're selling private label, that you need to have on-site support. It costs about $300 a month, roughly. If you use the code or the link from the group, or I can make an email introduction with you, you get a few months for free, and they waive the onboarding, which is like $500. But what it does, and you're gonna hear me talk about it a lot this year, is refunds and returns are a big issue, right? Negative reviews from bad customer experience is a bad issue. Well, when you as a buyer, which I'm assuming most of us are here, when you as a buyer go in to initiate a refund or leave bad feedback, you see those 3 yellow buttons that you can select to start that process. With on-site support, it adds an additional one at the top, yellow button. And it's going to be live chat and support so that you can help you can pass through. Yeah, please pass through.
We'll take a table over there if you guys want to wait over there.
Yeah. The on-site support is going to set it up to where you can have live chat support. If any of you are familiar with Gorgeous, if you sell offline or any of those other customer service platforms, this is not just for Amazon, so it'll open it up into a chat that you can also have your chats going on for your shop, your off-site Amazon stuff, for Newegg, for eBay, for Walmart, for all that different stuff, and you can handle it all in one spot. It allows you to redirect the seller off Amazon, which is nuts. You can have really nice pages and customer support and answer questions right there on the platform. So the reason why I like it beyond that, if you're not connecting the dots, is I'm seeing that it cuts your returns by about 40%. So again, $300 a month, $300 a month software, cut returns by about 40%. Sign me up. The other thing it does is, if your live chat support is very good, I am a huge fan of crushing it with customer service and turning customer service into like a revenue stream, if you will, right? And if you can catch someone while they're having that issue right there on the platform, then I'm noticing that you're turning a lot of those into positive reviews. So you're seeing an uptick in positive reviews, at the same time a downtick of negative reviews. And in some cases, you don't want the product returned. You don't want to pay for all that to come back. In some cases, it makes sense just to say, keep it, or sending you another one. You get to do that all in one platform. And again, it's like $299, say $300 a month. So it's on-site support, they're a sponsor. Assureful for insurance. You do need insurance as a seller. I did not get insurance when I first started selling. I thought that was for like really big companies. You do need insurance as a seller. It's an intimidating topic. It's gotten less intimidating for sellers, especially if you're just starting off and looking for your first product. You probably don't want to have the conversation about insurance. Assureful, they are the underwriters for the insurance. Like, I've seen them give you the coverage you need for $20 a month, and they scale with you based on how you're doing in sales on a product by product basis. And I haven't seen anything else out there better than that. And trace views, again, if you have a bunch of negative reviews, they go in there, the stubborn ones, the ones you can't get rid of, they go in there and have an excellent track record in removing them. Last year we talked about the downside of them is they required you to have thousands of negative reviews before they work with you. As of this week coming up, there is no minimum. So if you need to work with them on a few stubborn reviews or thousands, it's they work with you on that. So those are our platinum sponsors. We also have some gold sponsors, which is e-commerce Chris, Smart Scout, Rivly, PickFu, and Remore Corp. And finally, one more sponsor, which I'm going to be talking about a lot, is Connected Commerce Council. So there's a lot of like saber rattling going on, trying to break up different parts of Amazon with antitrust stuff. They're trying to do a good job at communicating the other side of that on how Amazon has been helping us as sellers do what we do. Do we have complaints about what Amazon does? Yes, and I could probably beat all of you in listing out issues that I have with them. But I encourage you, if you think those problems are bad, try to sell on any other platform and then just compare them. And Amazon starts looking like a dream. So Connected Commerce Council, they're gonna be coming in and doing a bunch of stuff. You'll see me putting some posts out through the year, which is, if you fit the criteria that they're sort of looking at as an Amazon seller, they'll fly you out to go speak to Congress and share your story. I think it's pretty cool. So I love that there's somebody on the other side trying to help us. Events we do every year, if you're new, I see some new faces. We do an online seller cruise, which we set sail for online seller cruise, which is the event that it's our event, our annual event. It's sold out. We leave January 21st. Woo! Yep. So at the same time, one of my business partners here, we have Miami Salsa Cruise happening at the same time. So shockingly, there is a lot of synergy between e-commerce sellers and salsa dancers when you see it on the cruise. I would not have guessed that. It was not intentional. Like, we didn't say, you know what they need? These introverted e-com sellers, they want to dance salsa. No, it's pretty amazing. I guess a drink pass just makes everyone want to dance, right? So we set sail next Sunday. Next Saturday, we do not have an event here. Our event for next Saturday, it's open to everyone, whether you're sailing on Online Seller Cruise or not, is at Champion Sports Bar by the airport. And you're gonna I think you should go even if you're not going on the cruise, and you get to meet a lot of people that you probably hear on podcasts or see on YouTube or speak on stage somewhere, since they come in from all over the world for that event on Online Seller Cruise. So swing by. It's on Meetup. The next event is Champion Sports Car at, does anyone remember the hotel name? I'm really bad right now. It's on Meetup. You'll see it there, but we're not here Saturday, right? To make up for it, so for those of you not going on the cruise, don't feel left out, we are having a Meetup though next week. And the Meetup is going to be on Wednesday, which you'll also see on the Meetup. And we're going as a group to the Tropical Plant International Expo, which is in Fort Lauderdale. Does anybody remember? I think it's Fort Lauderdale Convention Center, but it might be the airport. But you can see the address on Meetup. So that's our Meetup for next week. There Wednesday. Then Saturday, Champion Sports Bar. Sunday we set sail. The following Saturday there is no Meetup here because we're going to be on a boat. So if you're on the ship, you'll be able to attend our Meetup. If not, it's going to be very difficult for you to helicopter into the boat to attend the Meetup. Okay? When we come back, our next Meetup here, which is, I believe, February 3rd, we'll be having an Amazon influencer Meetup topic in Miami. We just had one in Tampa, but we'll be having one here in Miami. So that's pretty much what the next few weeks look like. And started that with Online Seller Cruise. We also have a China trip. Our next China trip will be in April, and we'll start talking more about that as we get closer. The other thing we do a lot as a group is we go to trade shows. I'm getting past Online Seller Cruise mentally before I start thinking of the trade shows that we're going to go to this year, but I'll start announcing that when I get back from the cruise. All right. I made some notes here for things just to get caught up for the year. An announcement for those of you that do go up to the Tampa group sometimes. As you know, there was 2 Amazon Meetup groups up in Tampa, Wizards of Ecom chapter, and then there was another large Tampa group. That group has now merged into ours. So our group has expanded a lot with those new members. So the Tampa group is giving us a run for our money on size. If you're ever up that way, stop by at the Wizards of Ecom Tampa event. It's Midtown, if you're familiar with Tampa. It's right behind Midtown and the Whole Foods. We already mentioned Wednesday's meetup, covered that. Before we open it up to questions and see what's going on with everybody over the last few weeks, I put together just some predictions, and maybe next year we can just go back to this meetup now and see how right we were, right? I'm trying to do that for the one we did. We didn't call it predictions and make it an official thing, but we're going back to look at the stuff I did in January, which was similar, to see how accurate we were. Maybe that'll be like, should we do the opposite of what Carlos says in January, or is there something there? So one of my predictions for this year is that if you don't have an external website as a private label or brand seller, and I feel like that's the direction everybody should be heading towards. If you don't have a website, I'm just going to call it Shopify, but if you don't have an external website strategy, I think you're going to start really getting left behind. Like, it's previous years, I think you had the luxury to choose. I don't feel like that's the case anymore. My prediction is you're going to really notice that if you don't get started on doing that now and doing some external efforts. Even Amazon is kind of showing you this by creating programs that benefit you if you have an external site, like the ability to drive ads from Amazon to your site. Buy with Prime, a lot of stuff. So you really want to start doing that. Cost per clicks on the ad side everywhere is going to continue going up. So being able to get some organic sales on your website, or creatively funnel traffic from your site to Amazon, I think is no longer something that's going to be able to be ignored this year. Another random one, even though we don't talk about this topic a lot, and I'm sorry if this is one of your businesses. I don't take joy in seeing anybody's businesses go down, but those of you that get pitched a lot on these dropship businesses, I see that dying this year. Like, small cost drop shipping businesses now with Temu and Shein's shipping stuff over like immediately for these low cost goods. If you have a low cost, say like drop shipping business that drop ships from like AliExpress for like $50, I think that dies this year. Like, we won't even be having this conversation next year. It's just, there's going to be no way, with logistical issues that's out there and the Temu effect, which is real. That's a dead issue. So like, if you were considering that, my advice is just close the book on the low cost drop shipping. AI. I know everyone's super bullish on AI. I think AI is going to cause more problems for us as Amazon sellers than it is going to do good. All right? We're already seeing Amazon's first use of AI, if you will, on the platform, and it is bad. It is really, really bad. Like, we're this week coming up, we have like an all hands internally trying to create SOPs to check stuff on Amazon listings, but Amazon is going through and using AI to fix your titles on your listings in a way that they think should be done. They're overriding what you put. So we're putting together an SOP. I'll share this out to everyone when we do it. I think it's that important, to where if you notice, even as a reseller, like, oh my God, why am I not getting sales on this product? It's not just your brand. They're going in and they're rewriting, they're overwriting what you created on your listing. And Amazon is amazing at building a platform. They are horrible at created listings. Okay? Horrible with advertising, creating listings, and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of other hints as to what they're going to do with AI. My prediction is that off Amazon, if you do any kind of writing or emails or anything else in your life, AI is going to be amazing. But on Amazon, it's going to cause a lot more problems than it is benefits. So unfortunately, we'll be talking a lot about AI. And then I think there's going to be more changes this year. Changes, they're good or you got to adapt to them. Like, that's what it's about, adapting, right? I'm not saying they're good or bad. You have to adapt. But there are going to be more changes this year on Amazon than I think I've seen in the last 15 years on Amazon. I think we're going to be looking at like major changes every 10 days. So use this group, free to attend. Use the Telegram chat. Don't try to figure all this stuff out on your own. Share what you learn. We'll be sharing what we learn in the chats. That's a real strength that we have as a group. So utilize it. Okay? Everybody with me on that? Anybody want to make a prediction, by the way? Like you guys, I know you're talking about predictions. Yeah. Anybody have any predictions they want to throw out there? No? Okay.
TikTok?
I think TikTok, if I had to make a prediction on TikTok, I'm going to say for most people, TikTok shops is going to continue to be underwhelming, which I think everyone's like kind of like on the post-COVID, you got to get everything made in Mexico, and now everyone's kind of realized what the realities are of manufacturing in Mexico. I think we're on a little bubble right now as to thinking like, oh my God, like TikTok shops is just like, not this year. I do think what we're seeing on TikTok and some of these other platforms like Taobao has been for a while, but what we're seeing there is going to be the direction, that some of that stuff is going to be the direction of where we're going with e-commerce, but not, I wouldn't spend a great deal of resources trying to build out a TikTok shop this year, right? Especially if you're just starting, like, focus. I think the ability to connect with influencers on TikTok is better than ever, of all sizes. They've just made it stupid easy, whereas working with influencers in the past has always been like a very time-consuming, agonizing process. But I mean, they have it set up, a few clicks and you get in front of who you want to get in front of. So like, I think we should be leveraging influencers on TikTok, but TikTok shops, no, not so foolish. It also highly depends on your product and a lot of other things, but for most people, it's not going to be good. It's my prediction. Let's see, did I cover everything? Yeah. So questions, anybody? We'll go into our open topic. Anybody has questions? Fernando, you're looking at the stream? Yeah.
The question about you mentioned the tropical plant.
Expo.
What does a private label look like in plants, or why would someone go to the show?
Well, first of all, you can sell plants, and there's plenty of people that sell plants. There's unique challenges to plants. I think that's an opportunity if you're willing to stick with it and figure it out. There's also things like all of the ancillary things that go with plants that are phenomenal opportunities. For a long time, one example I'd give you that you wouldn't expect to see at a plant expo is there's these things called polymer desiccated gel beads, and you use them in a lot of plants. I use them as a hydration source for live insects that I sell. People use them in vases. You can use them in soil. And they are these tiny desiccated beads that expand like a bazillion times their size when exposed to water or moisture. You see them there, and you'll find people there that you could do business with. You'll find lots of different products that people in this group have found and can turn into their own private label. But yeah, you can also sell plants. So, yeah. Any other? Was that a question or a scratch? Yeah. No questions this year. 3 weeks. I'm glad we're pivoting into private label sourcing in the future beginner hours.
Got a question. What are your thoughts on whenever Amazon, say you're doing a wholesaling opportunity, and Amazon gets on your listing, on the listing, would you try to compete with price, or would you hold steady on your price on your listing?
Yeah, I would hold steady on my price. I would keep it to where I'm making money, and there's a lot of variables here, so it depends on what the product is selling for, like the price point that it's selling for. So if it's under 25 bucks, I think you can price it like at 25, 26 bucks and still get some sales. There are some cases where even with Amazon having the buy box, you can get sales. Most definitely not at the velocity in most cases that you were probably thinking when you sourced the product. For most sellers though that do not have a great deal of experience, I recommend getting out of that inventory and not dealing with it anymore. But a lot of exceptions. Yeah. Does that happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had let's talk through it. You don't have to give away the product, but talk through like what happened. And
It was like a snack product. It was under.
can somebody pass the mic too, by the way, that square cube?
Yeah, it was a snack product under $50. So food, kind of snack item, and we were doing pretty good with it, and then all of a sudden, we just saw in the last week, Amazon, it's like their inventory, according to our pages, says 999 plus.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Have you looked and used any tools to see if they've been selling that product before?
Never.
They've never sold it before?
That's why we moved forward on it. It was a good opportunity for us.
Yeah. Have you tried dropping the price any?
I just literally adjust the price this morning, but still, with our price and the Amazon price is like nearly 1/3, 30% difference. That was a lot.
They're 30%
30%.
cheaper.
Yeah.
If you don't have,
Yeah.
in that scenario, personally, I would leave. I'd do what you can to get rid of the inventory, and I'd go. It's not a matter of whether you could get sales and what little strategy you can put into place. There's just easier opportunities out there to sell. I'd get out of that inventory, get as much of the capital back as you can, and move to a different product. Yep. Any other questions? So let's do something else. Who here has not started selling? So everybody's selling. Has not started. Yeah, has not started. Who here has been selling for less than 18 months? Okay, so everybody here has been selling for a bit. That's good. So you just I'm going to pick on you a little bit, but so you just started selling and no questions.
No, we don't even know anything about.
Okay, well this section is for you.
Started for actually the influencer thing.
Okay,
But we want to learn.
okay. What do you know about the Amazon influencer?
I'm texting you. My name's Carlos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're going to be successful with that name.
We know much. This is what my brother-in-law told us, George.
Yeah.
Carbonell,
Yeah.
The one that told us about you.
Yeah.
He's kind of told us a little bit about the selling part, but other than that, we're green.
But you're sure that you want to do the Amazon influencer program to start?
That for sure, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I worked on getting, which actually, I was gonna tell you, I tried to get on and I got rejected. I spoke to Samir.
Yep.
That means, I'm up to
Good.
7,500
Good.
followers. But I don't have a lot of posts, and I guess not a lot of engagement, so I guess they didn't like that.
Okay.
So I just might have to keep working on it. She went on and got accepted right away. She has like 35,000 followers.
So that I'm not assuming anything. Business partners or?
No, my wife.
Okay.
Yeah. She's got a ton of Instagram followers. Her channel's a lot older. She has tons of engagement. She was organic. She didn't pay for it. It grew on its own.
Because you're married, I'm just going to assume you live together. I would be very concerned about having two Amazon influencer accounts under the same IP address. Yeah. Since I did a presentation Wednesday in Tampa on Amazon influencer, and since then I'm just getting bombarded with messages, and I'm getting messages from people who've been suspended because they've had multiple accounts in the same household. Prior to that, it was a thing that says they're on the rules that you can't, but I hadn't really heard of a ton of people since shoppable videos came out that was happening to, but now that is happening. So like, I've not had personal experience with it, but I'd be very concerned with that. What would be the reason to have two?
Well, I just figured two income streams,
Right.
you know. Two's better than one.
Right, but you're going to be reviewing from the same pool of products.
Well, sort of, kind of, not really, but yeah. I mean,
It's got different.
my thing is like RC stuff.
Oh, so you want to do the Amazon influencer program and you want to focus on a niche?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I want to branch out a little more from that, but I had a channel before on YouTube where I reviewed RC.
What happened to it?
It's still there. It didn't do very well. I did it with my daughter. We had videos, we posted them. We didn't get a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
wild
followers.
then.
And, you know, we just did boats, cars, all kinds of stuff, just videos.
Yeah.
Running them, reviewing them, things like that, but it didn't really promote too much. You know, it was just for fun. We weren't doing it
Right.
for any- So it's still there, but, didn't have a ton of followers or anything.
You know, I think if I had to predict something about Amazon influencer program, and I think we're like a ways off from that, but I would say niching down long term is probably going to be a solid strategy to do. Right now, it's just very, very wild, wild west, and there's just so many opportunities to just make easy money. If it's part of a long-term strategy, niche down, but if not, I would just go as wide as you can go right now on the Amazon influencer program. And if you did that, you really don't need multiple accounts, but that's just my 2 cents.
I have a good reason why you would want multiple accounts, because it's Amazon after all. So if you want to use one as backup, or you basically have two and you're running them in parallel and you're sharing content, if one gets shut down, then you have, you know, a plan B.
I know that people do that,
I don't do it, but-
and I know Amazon sellers have this thing where they're going to open up multiple Amazon seller accounts because if one goes down, there's this thought that the other won't go down too. The vast majority of the time, even people playing around with VPNs and all that, they all go down. So it's really not this layer of security that most people think. The other thing is you're diluting your efforts. One of the ways that you can make decent money with the Amazon Influencer Program is people reaching out to you so that you can review their stuff. Your influencer profile is going to look a lot better the more stuff it has on it versus having it. So like, if you feel better, if it makes you feel more comfortable because you think it's a safety net, sure. But in reality, just do what you're supposed to do. If something does happen, which is extraordinarily rare, open another one. Yeah, but even what you're saying is like, you think you might get suspended for what? Like
Amazon, you know, they're suspended for something that you don't even know you're going to get suspended for, so it's hard to predict.
you know, in reality, that's like, that does not happen to 99% of the people. It's just people, again, talking to a lot of people in the community, almost 9 years of doing this group. That, and another one is if I'm selling private label, Amazon's gonna copy my product, right? In my entire network, I do not know anyone personally who Amazon has copied their product. People I know don't know anyone personally who that's happened. Yet, it's very top of mind with everyone as to like a concern you should have if you're a private label seller. The other one though, with accounts getting suspended, most people never get their account suspended. It's just, again, it's very top of mind, you're concerned about it when you open an account, but almost nobody ever does. So
in one of the
Etsy's different, by the way. She raised her hand, I was gonna say Etsy's very different.
one of the Facebook groups that I follow, that, you know, the Amazon Profits, I don't know what it's called, but it's a one really, or the Influencer Profits group. People are constantly writing about their stories and sharing kind of what happened when their accounts got suspended. A lot of times it's something that is shocking to everyone, where it ends up being like a violation of terms of service, but barely. You know, it's like they posted the link in the wrong place, like they put it in the comments as opposed to the description on YouTube, for example.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes people really nervous is people don't really want to take any chances, like, oh, let me go expand and try this out on YouTube for fear that they might get shut down.
Yeah, again, look, if it makes you feel more comfortable and sleep better at night, helps you focus on your business, then do it.
Yeah.
In reality, in my reality, some of these, I don't know the group you're in, but I've had some of these people that run some of these groups on the podcast. I've talked to other ones about potentially coming on the podcast. Word kind of gets around. I DM a lot of these people, and some of the big ones, like one of the ones that was putting out all the top content on YouTube, right? Telling everyone how to do this. The reason they said they got suspended, that was the reason they gave. They broke every single rule under the sun. They had a bazillion zombie videos. So like, when someone comes out on Facebook and says that happened, even if they're like screenshotting the templated reason that Amazon felt like, we'll just classify it under this, there's normally so much more to the story in my experience. Yeah, so do what you gotta do to make you feel more comfortable. I'm just letting you know I don't feel like it's necessary, that's it. But do it. God knows I've been wrong before.
As an Amazon seller, what would you say is the most common reason for suspension?
Not knowing the rules of the platform you're on. Like, how many people here have read the terms of service? Right. That's why. That's why. Like, that is the number one reason, like, there's not even a close second. You just, anywhere else, like, you would read the rules of the platform you're on. Like, that's the number one reason. Isn't that crazy? Like, we're all here on a Saturday. So I'd say we're head and shoulders above the rest of the sellers in here. No one's read the terms of service.
But
Isn't that like crazy?
100 pages of
It's 100 pages. Your entire livelihood is, in some cases, are built on this thing. Like, oh, Amazon goes down, you have to get rid of X amount of your staff and everything. So like, why would you not read the rules about it? Like, that's the #1 reason people get suspended. I wouldn't call that ignorance either. Like, there's another word for it, but I don't want to use it here. Like you just, doesn't make sense. Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? I'll be nicer on the next answer. I think I like accent.
I'm sorry, can I piggyback on the previous?
Absolutely.
How forgiving are they when you are suspended?
They are extraordinarily forgiving now compared to what they used to be. There was no appeals process before. There was no POA anything. There wasn't an army of, yes, I think they're overpriced. And fortunately, we have a sponsor who's one of the best in my opinion, which is Ecom Chris. There are like agencies that specialize in getting you unscrewed by Amazon. It did not exist before. The hottest selling book on Amazon used to be how to get back on Amazon once suspended. And it was like one chapter was where to get an app that would give you a different phone number and how to hide this. That was another one. There was no getting back, right? Extremely forgiving compared to what they used to be. And extremely forgiving in comparison to any other platform that's out there. So, to put in perspective. Yeah. You got the best seat in the house. You want me to get you a seat or are you comfortable? You can stay.
I'm real comfortable, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
Just to say too, if you open up like 2 different accounts to, mitigate the risk, you might make the same mistake on both accounts.
Yes, that is golden. Because you don't know it was a mistake to begin with, right? Because no one read the rules. Yeah, you could definitely make the same mistake on both accounts, thinking it's a best practice because it's doing good on the other account. That's amazing. What else do we got? We're only halfway through. Any questions you have? We could talk about Amazon influencer stuff. We're going to be talking about it a lot this year.
We have a lot of questions, but we don't know what we don't know, right? So we're starting from green scratch. We don't even know where to start.
Okay, so you have an Amazon influencer account now.
So this is right. So I started an Instagram account and started building it up. It took a little bit, but got it up a little. Oh, thank you. So I got it built up, but in hopes to find something that we can do with it. And then my brother told us about this, but I really don't even know about the whole seller thing. I don't even know what that entails, where to start, like how to learn about it, So we heard about the influencer thing and we thought, okay, well maybe I can use the account. Honestly, my Instagram, it does have a niche. I don't know if that's gonna impact if I'm able to get approved or not. I mean, I got the storefront, I set that up really quick. And that got approved, but I haven't uploaded the three videos yet, because again, I'm not exactly sure. I hear that it's sometimes hit or miss type of thing. So again, I'm just trying to learn before I upload.
So
to make sure I don't mess up.
As of right now, the 3 videos, once you get approved for Amazon Influencer and you go to submit the 3 videos, their process for approving the 3 videos is all over the place.
Right.
You could see 3 good videos and 3 junky videos. Accents, no accents, light, something in the back, something not, like across the board. And it's a coin toss as to getting approved or not. It's a total black hole. What I will say right now, and there's some people that are exploring this to try to see differently, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say 99.9999% sure your engagement on your social platform will have 0 bearings on whether your 3 videos are going to get approved. I do think it has a lot to do with getting approved for the program because they want to determine if you're an influencer. Right, so once you're past that, I see it having almost 0 bearings on whether your videos are getting approved. Kind of like Buy Box on Amazon. There's a lot of different things that determine, you might not know this, but like when you go to shop on Amazon and you go to buy this Bluetooth speaker, there might be 8 sellers there. You don't know. You just see the price and you buy. So that one seller happened to be the featured seller and was in the buy box. And that's who you actually bought for. Their product was an FBA and it got shipped to you. So what a lot of people don't realize, well, the 2 biggest factors for getting into the buy box is going to be your price. You have the best price, supposedly, and that you're on FBA. Those are the 2 big ones. But there's a lot of other factors that go into play on that, but most people don't talk about them. So they all have different weight as to determine whether you do get the buy box. So with the Amazon Influencer Program, I'm sure there's other things that that do impact what they approve for the 3 videos. If engagement's one of them, I'm gonna say it's like a fraction of a percent. When you're trying to get approved, you want anything to work. You know what I mean? So you want to feel like you're making progress, and you're not going to do the same thing over again. Because if I submit this and it got denied, what am I doing to increase my chances of getting the next one approved? So there's that feeling, which is a good one to have. But I don't see it having any bearings on your 3 videos getting approved. So some best practices that we've been all able to put together to get those approved is plain background. I would even say a white wall in this case, and not even a brown panel, but plain background. Make sure what you're wearing has no branded names on it. Make sure that the product is front and center that you're talking about. I think you get a bump, and I'm only basing this off of like everyone that I've seen get approved and denied. There seems to be a heavy skew towards your face on video. So I know there's like a fear thing there and not show your face, but it seems like having your face, you have a much higher percentage of people that are getting approved with face on video. Just
Horizontal versus vertical.
I would do horizontal.
Horizontal.
Yes, horizontal.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like,
Yeah, horizontal. Keep it short. I suggest you, and this is something that's hard to put into words, but I suggest you do a product that you know and use and love. You can pick up when somebody is not like really. I could show you a video where I reviewed one of Tom's fertilizers, right? I've never used this fertilizer. It was like this carnivorous, what was it? Man-eater, what?
Carnivorous plant soil.
Carnivorous plant soil. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I know nothing. And I was sitting there and I just said, here's carnivorous plant soil. It's amazing. I love to use it in my carnivorous plants. The package is so compact, it doesn't take up so much space. I highly recommend. Like, it sounded like that, right? Because, I mean, I can fake it a little better with a script, but just I'm exaggerating that point. I'm making like $1 a day off that thing ever since, right? Versus, I have this little Joby compact video recorder. We used to use it like when we first started recording these videos, these events. I was so intimately aware of it, and I was so excited that we were adding something to the Meetup community. I like geeked out on everything there was to know about this little Joby, the Osmo, and I did a video on it. I lit up. There was like more color in my face. You just knew. I had a reason why I bought it. I even said it in the video. It was so much more convincing. It was so much easier to do. When I looked at this thing of like, I wanted to review these things mostly to help my friend Tom, but I was like, I am dreading this. I'm gonna review how many things of freaking fertilizer? You know what I mean? Like, it's agonizing, right? Versus those 3. So I would pick the first 3, make sure there's something that you like, know, love, and use, even if it's a soap dish, right? Doesn't matter. And then I would stay away from anything that is even medical, remotely medical. And by remotely, I mean my wife got rejected because she's talked about some sunblock she uses. Like, she wants to like lather everyone with sunblock every time they leave the house, right? And she just mentioned this thing is SP50 and it protects you against ultraviolet, whatever. It was on the product, right? And they flagged it for that. And fortunately, they told us why they flagged it. Sometimes they flag it and they don't tell you anything, right? So those would be some of my best practices there. And then we have a Telegram group that can even add more that I haven't mentioned now. And just take your best shot at that. Like, what's the worst thing that happens? You submit 3 rounds and you don't get approved. Get another Instagram account and you try again. Eventually you do get approved.
and that was the thought behind
See.
adding him. Would it matter, like, question I was just to know, if I were to upload a review that he makes on my account, does it matter? If it's his voice, my voice, does it matter?
Say that again?
So let's say to submit one of those,
It has to be your face.
does it have to be like me doing the review, or can he do the review?
Oh, can you have different people on the same?
Right.
Yeah, yes, you can have different people doing it. What I'm seeing, and again, I don't, like, everybody who submits something doesn't come to me and like show me what they did. So like basing it off what I've seen, is it seems like for 100%, yes, you can have your channel have multiple people on it. My wife and I are mine. Other people have like their spouses, some business partners, yes. But what I'm seeing is those first 3 videos needs to be the same person. Everyone I see that, and I didn't even think people were doing this, but everyone I see that was doing it with multiple people that had 2 different people or more doing those first 3 submissions, they didn't get approved. So just make sure those first 3 are just the same person. Who it is really doesn't matter.
Carlos,
Yeah.
one more little tip I would recommend is your Amazon
Can you throw the mic?
influencer channel, whatever social media channel you have in that. Nice. What I'd recommend for the influencer channel, when you're setting it up, whatever your social media picture is in there, okay, make sure it matches with your Amazon influencer channel. Don't have it be a different picture. So there's a person, once you get approved and it crosses that first hurdle, make sure that that person is seeing your picture, and I would even have your background of your Facebook, you know, whatever that image is, have that be the same one on your influencer channel too. So try to make those all kind of connect and match. I don't really know what all the rules are, but I want to stay right down the middle of the road, be as plain vanilla as I can, be wide open. You know, I don't want to try to mess anything up at that point. Just make everything match and connect all the dots. That would be just another little tip I'd give you in terms of the setup, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, and remember, at the end of the day, what we're doing is we are kind of duping. Like, the only reason there's a stress factor here is that we're duping Amazon into thinking that we meet their criteria level to be an influencer. But at the end of the day, because there's no influencer who's an influencer for real that has, for real, right? We're all influencers whether we exert it or not, but anyone that's like exerting their influence at any level for X amount of time has a social media feed full of posts and engagement. So they're not concerned about any of this stuff. They submit, and I don't know a single influencer that's ever been rejected to the Amazon influencer program. It's that we're trying to like appear a certain way, so just.
And so with regards to
$1,305.
there on this other thing.
What do you mean?
Regards-
I think 11
so
last
on
month.
my Instagram page, right, I've just been doing this for a while, and I
got this video
just have my vision, whatever. But am I supposed to be doing, posts now on my Instagram?
No.
In reference to this?
You don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, if I were you, I would focus on the basics of just getting into a rhythm every day of posting videos. Depending on the time you have, depends on the amount of money, the amount of videos you should put up. Once you've got that going, then yes, you can branch out and post this stuff in other places. Just make sure you're letting Amazon know that you're posting these things on these different platforms.
Can I also throw another thing at that? I would be very, very cautious about what you post on these other social media platforms. There are some people out there saying post your videos on YouTube. Then the YouTube's getting shut down.
Yep.
I'm just trying to minimize everything I possibly can. Once you get approved for the program, be happy as a clam. Just put up your videos, put up 5 a day. You and hubby put up 5 a day, and just keep on rocking and rolling with that. Amazon Canada is now coming out. Europe's coming out. People are trying to apply from that. Amazon's not connecting right. People are getting like stuck. So just be happy with that influencer program. Just stay right there. Don't add anything else on there. Just be a happy camper there. And then eventually, as all the bugs and the kinks get worked out, like with Amazon, eventually all this stuff does get worked out. Just so I would recommend, once you get approved, get your 3 videos, you keep on doing that, you start monetizing, just stay right there. Don't get tempted by the, I'm gonna put my videos up in Canada and Europe and Australia and all. It's a mess right now. That's what I'm seeing.
I'm actually thinking about the other thing, like, my concern was that my page might be a little, non-woke, let's just say.
That's okay.
It's just like
That's my niche.
semi-political,
Right.
like,
But you already got approved for the Amazon influencer program?
oh yeah, she got to do the
Well,
match.
not the 3 videos though, but.
Yeah,
She
I think you're fine.
She clicked on it, and right away she was approved.
I think you're fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't, my thing was trying to keep radio cover for me to, like, I wanted to keep everything.
Yeah, no, keep it separate. I'll tell you what I would do though, is if you got rejected after 3 rounds of submissions, and you said, hey, I'm gonna open up a totally other Facebook page or Instagram page, just for the purposes of getting approved, I would make sure it's like middle of the lane, not political, not like why even tempt fate there, you know, like just, that's the only thing I would do different. But you're already approved for the Amazon influencer program. So now just focus on 3 quality videos that don't break any of the rules.
People are saying that if you get rejected those 3 times, that you can shut down the Amazon account and reapply with a different Amazon account. Do you know if that's true?
Say that again?
Yeah, of
So
course.
if you get rejected after those 3 attempts for the videos, you can shut down
Yes.
Yeah,
the
100%.
Amazon account that it's tagged or linked to.
Don't shut down your Amazon account, just close that,
You can
close
try-
that influencer application
Yeah,
down,
and you
and then
can try what to do
reapply.
with the
Yeah.
same social media using a different Amazon.
I would use a,
I would use a different social media.
Just
Anybody I know,
start a brand
yeah,
new-
anybody I know that's used the same social media, they've never gotten approved again, so it's making me think that it has to do with they've already tied that social media.
Oh,
Yeah.
This might switch gears, and if there's no other Canadians here, you might say, let's talk about it later.
No.
So the group I'm with, I've been with for many years, we run an Amazon business on there, looking to kind of establish a new company with people I'm with. I'm in Canada, I'm down here for 3-4 months out of the year as a snowbird. So, and I've never started anything on Amazon myself, I've kind of just, work with what we got.
So, what's the
Is there a difference between building your Amazon business
Start off
and the US is obviously
57 cents the first day, the first
separate?
3,000.
Well, they're
5,000, 6,000.
in some of the more important
8,000.
parts, they're very different. Where in the amount of shoppers, the amount of potential conversions, eyeballs in the U.S. is just, most people who sell in the U.S. look at Canada as a waste of time to sell on that platform. Canada's been growing 15% year over year though for a while now, and I'm starting to hear more people that are saying that it's making up 15 to 20% of their business. What they do in the U.S. that's great.
So yeah, I get that. So I guess my question is, as we start to establish, this new company of ours with Amazon, even though I spend half my time in Canada, I should be building the business
In the U.S. Yes.
They're really separate businesses.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I would.
And then .com people that are selling here, when they're selling .ca.
Yes, so I think what most people do that are selling in .com, they just turn on like global selling or NARF or something like that, and it is not the same impact than you selling in that country and being in that country and having your inventory in that country. So I would start with the U.S. I would put all my focus on the U.S. and get it to a point where it's doing well, and then think about adding on another country. Canada would obviously be a very easy one to do, even though Mexico is geographically seems easy, it's not. So if you're feeling especially masochistic, you can add on Mexico. And but yeah, I would do one platform at a time. Yeah. Well, you can do it. You just have to go through all the extra licensing and you got to get approved in Canada with all the Canadian regulations, and usually it makes it cost prohibitive for a lot of companies. Yes. Yeah. Same thing with supplements. Same thing with medical. Same thing with any of that. Like, there's just a lot of extra hurdles that are there. It doesn't mean you can't, right? As a matter of fact, if you have the budget to do it, it's probably even better to do it because most people won't. So it's even less competition. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I hear you. What other questions we got, guys? Who else was just, I didn't pick on you a little bit. You haven't started yet. Where are you at? Can someone throw him the mic?
An entrepreneur para the software company.
Okay.
To win a software company, and I create a product that I want to try this path in my life now.
Okay.
I'm doing many companies and I want to try.
Okay, so you created your own brand.
So I made a product and I want to try to sell it in France.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. Ask any questions you have here in the group, and a lot of people here have done that same thing. Yep. How was the new year? Good? Yes. Yeah, if I'm selling in a country, I'm running PPC. Talking about localizing the content? Yeah, you should localize the content. ChatGPT is not completely your friend yet when it comes to that, but it helps a great deal. No other questions? Yeah.
In your experience on CPC, like doing in the USA or other countries, what are the difference in bid pricing in US versus, let's say, Canada or Mexico or Europe?
Your question is, what's the difference in basically CPC? What's the difference in CPCs between the US and everywhere else? Putting it in like beginner basic terms, USA has very high CPC. Everywhere else has much, much lower CPC.
How much? Like 20%?
Oh man, the difference between US and, I'm gonna say the next big three for me would be Germany, Japan, and the UK.
Yeah.
You're talking about half or more.
Probably the prices are expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Half of what, Carlos?
The cost per click.
So I think that you're.
Is Japan really that significant in terms of?
Japan's awesome, yeah. Well, the thing is, once you're in Japan, you're probably going to also turn on Rakuten, and Rakuten pretty much runs everything in Japan. So when you're there, you're pretty much looking at, I sell on Amazon Japan and Rakuten.
You mean like if you're already fulfilling there?
Yeah, if you've already jumped through the hoops, yes.
And you can do a multi-channel fulfillment for Rakuten probably?
Because you'd probably have, no, you just sell directly on Rakuten and work it out of a 3PL.
Gosh.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So
Have you sold in Japan before?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. If you add Rakuten with Japanese sales, it would have been my second biggest marketplace. But if you looked at just Amazon, then it would be Germany after the U.S.
Yes.
But remember, a lot of people are saying now that Canada is 15 to 20% of what they do on Amazon. That is significant.
15?
15 to 20% of what they're doing on Amazon, and it's right there. So unless you have like a crazy hurdle like with beauty supplements or something like that, that's amazing. Grow 20% just by turning on another platform? I love that.
Carlos, as of the shipping price, now everyone will jump on the boat before Chinese New Year. Do you forward to see after Chinese New Year the price will go down?
So your question's about shipping price and the rush right now before Chinese New Year. Well, it's more than just Chinese New Year that's causing the prices to go up right now. There's the whole Red Sea and there's like all this other craziness going on right now. I think we're gonna have a really hard first half of the year when it comes to shipping. I don't see them coming down much. I think they're gonna go up a lot more. I don't think we see COVID levels, but I don't think we'll see the prices we see now back to this level for a while. I think they're gonna keep going up. Assuming that's not the case, like assuming everything was normal, I see going into Chinese New Year, prices go up and it becomes a lot more difficult. But I also see like the 3 weeks to the month right after Chinese New Year also to be extraordinarily difficult because everyone that couldn't make the boat or everyone that needs to be prioritized and like rush my stuff out that was sitting there, which is significant, they get their stuff in there. So like, it's like the month leading up and it's the full month after to where you would normally see some kind of normalization or it's just less hectic. So now with all the other issues on top of it, I think it's just gonna be really rough. Logistics is gonna be a challenging one this year, again. Yeah.
Container shortages too.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's gonna be, I think the lowest prices that we're gonna see for the first half of the year, we're looking at them now. Now? Yeah. What else we got? We could transition now. We only got 7 minutes, but if there's any other questions. All right, so we're going to transition into the topic of the week. Oh yeah, it feels good. We'll wrap up sometime between 3 and 3:30, and then we're going to stay here networking for a bit. So if anybody does have any other questions, feel free to, you can ask them as we go through this week's topic, but if it's not relevant to the topic, we'll just hold it until we start networking afterwards, all right? Okay. We did this topic, which is, it's a bit clickbaity, but you guys love it from the turnout and the registrants. But we're going to go through it. So we did it late last year. and it was, if I was starting right now with 500, last time we didn't put a dollar amount. We just played with 2 different dollar amounts. So if I was starting with $500 in 2024, how would I scale it to 7 figures in 18 months, right? So a few things that I mentioned last time are gonna be different this time around. So you just go, it used to be like you come up with this plan and I could just repeat it year after year, but things are definitely changing a lot faster. One thing that, well, 2 things I would ask is as we go through this, I could rip through this super fast, right? But the idea is to go back and forth on questions, question something, and so that we can get the most out of it. All right? If you're unsure of something, ask. We do have time to like really unpack some of these areas. The number one thing that I've seen, and I'm in some like, I'm in several of these like really high level mastermind chats with Ecom sellers, Amazon sellers, and that started their own brand and grew it to, you know, 8, 9 figures. And one thing every single one of them had in common is that they did not quit their day job when they started, right? Private label is absolutely horrible for cash flow. It is not the thing you start so that you can quit your job, replace the income and your health care and all that stuff there in the next 4 months, right? In a lot of cases, you won't even have the product in 4 months. You might still be in the sample stage. So like, the people that did quit their job so that they could put more effort into the business, what was pretty wild is like 80% or more of them had another creative income stream that was not even just taking care of their lifestyle, but it was also feeding the company. So in addition to not having to live off the company and pull money out of it, they also had this like cash flow machine that was feeding the business. For me, I didn't have anyone telling me that advice when I started, and it took me a lot longer to reach a comfortable level than had I been able to do that. But I will say that once I got to a point where I could not worry about gas or the cost of meat or anything like that, that I started realizing this, and I was like, hey, the business could grow so much faster if I wasn't living off of it. But I had this like very incorrect mindset that was, you know, I would like proudly want to wear the shirt that says unemployable. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be under a bridge than work for someone. And like, I think that's a bad mindset to have, but I had it for many, many years, right? And so I was like, well, I'm definitely not working for anyone. I'd rather just continue like embezzling from myself in this business than, but it would be nice to have a passive income stream, right? That I could sustain my lifestyle and not, which was very low, by the way. It was living off the $5 foot-long menu at Subway, right? But that also allowed me to feed money into the business. I had no credit, no existing credit, which apparently no existing credit is a lot worse than bad credit, from what I was told. So no existing credit, and I was living pretty much off just like borrowed money from everybody else. So not a good scenario to be in. So the creative income stream that I came up with at the time was wholesaling, Amazon wholesaling. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I just want to give you an idea if we've never met before. Like, I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. I've done this multiple times. Like, I've built it up to something, had it completely implode on me, needed to do it again. So I have some experience in doing what I'm about to share. It's not just something that ChatGPT spit out this morning, right? Having an income stream that is supporting your lifestyle and feeding the business and or keeping your day job is a pretty important ingredient in what we're going to be talking about here. As a matter of fact, if you remove that and you do everything else in the order that I share with you on this list, I'm pretty certain you will not. No, I'm nearly certain you will not only not hit the 18-month goal of $1 million in sales, but that you'll probably also just fail and need to go get that job anyway. So I want to really drive that home, especially if anyone is thinking about making that choice. So keep your day job. Anybody with me on that one before we go to the next one? Anyone want to challenge it? Go for it. I want to hear this. I'm dying to hear this one. This one I didn't put in this order last time, but the place you want to be at the end of this, like the direction we are heading, is you want to have your own brand. Like that's what you need to do. Like that is in e-commerce the long-term goal. There's a lot of other things you can do on e-commerce besides having a brand, but you want to have your own brand. I've pretty much done every model except drop shipping on e-commerce. One that we're going to be talking about a lot soon is, because it seems like a lot of people in the group ever since the Carrie Egler thing is we're talking about print on demand. I don't talk much about print on demand, but where's Fernando? Fernando, you remember when Merch by Amazon came out? He used to attend the group a long time ago. There's been different times in the group where this has become like a crazy topic. And when it first came out, I loaded it with designs. I can support my whole lifestyle right now off of the money we make from Merch by Amazon and the amount of designs that are up, because we've kept feeding it after all these years. But if you added it all up and stuck a whole bunch of multipliers on it, it does not come anywhere near what I've made on an exit from my lowest exit brand on getting paid, right? So like, I think you need to set your, I'm certain that you need to set your goal on creating a brand is where you want to be, that you own and can exit, right? Everybody with me on that? If you don't understand it, say it, because this is the direction we're heading, and if you don't get it, we need to.
What is that?
So when you create a brand, it's your versus reselling a product, you're creating something that you can sell, that somebody can buy for you at a multiple. If it's a strategic buy, it could be a multiple just because they want you eliminated from the picture as a competitor, or it can be a popular one is based on your EBITDA, so basically based on your profits. And that's usually when you get your payday. A lot of the stuff on YouTube, like private label sellers just bawling, they're bawling off the course that they're selling, right? A private label seller, as they sell, I'm telling you, the majority of the time as a brand owner when I was starting, I paid myself much, much less than what a Miami-Dade school teacher makes. No offense to Miami-Dade school teachers, but it's not a great deal, unfortunately. And most of the times I could pretty easily qualify for food stamps because I was investing it all. I'm sorry, you're a Miami-Dade school teacher, right? Sorry. It was, my cousins are, by the way, that's how I use that reference, because they're always complaining about what they make. I think they should be paid more than anybody in the world. But the majority of the time I could, qualify for food stamps, right? You invest it all back into the brand to grow this thing and to get to this point, right? And the real money that you make, and it is real, is if you grow something amazing, you can exit it. And then it all becomes worth it. You can get millions, if you will, for your brand. So that's the direction you want to go. Could you sell a resale business? Yes. The resale businesses that I know, they really don't get much in the way of a multiple. I mean, lucky if you get 1.5. And you don't really own anything in a resale business. Make sense? All right. Having said that, you cannot, we're starting this example off with $500. You cannot start a private label brand for $500. You just can't. I don't care what the course promises you. You're not going to start it with 3K. You're not going to start it with 5K. It takes a lot, right? The number I'd like to throw out there that we've been throwing out there last year is 30 to 50K. I'm starting to feel less authentic by saying 30 to 50K. I think you want to be closer to 50, but we're gonna stick with the 30 to 50K, because if you put my back to the wall and you're like, launch something for 30, I could, but I'm also leveraging a lot of experience that you might not have. And it would be so tight, but you need 30 to 50K to do it, and you can't do it with 500, but since I said this is where you need to go, the steps that we're gonna cover are gonna get us closer to being able to do that, all right? What you can do though, at this stage when you got the 500, is you can think about the brand that you would like to have, the niche you'd like to be in, and let's just say it's reef tanks. Eventually, one of these days, I'm actually going to pull the trigger and do a reef tank brand. But let's say it's a reef tank. You definitely cannot go out there and buy a reef tank. You can't start a reef tank brand. What you could do is you could create a content site, especially now with ChatGPT. You could create a content site and start creating content and ranking in Google SEO around reef tanks, and starting to see what of your content is actually sticking. There's so much free information out there right now on how to actually do your own SEO, and you don't need to do top-notch SEO to actually just rank your site, that when we get to this later stage at the end where we're actually starting our brand You're not starting with 0 people on your email list, 0 traffic to your website, and all that stuff. So what you could be doing in the meantime, though, is researching your niche, keeping an eye on your products, doing this research, and creating a content site. I do believe one of the best private label approaches that you can have for your brand, especially on Amazon, is a content-first approach. It's very difficult to think about a content-first approach when you already are sitting on a whole bunch of inventory and you're wondering how to move it, right? Because you need to move it now. You don't want to think about this long-term process of, growing your brand off Amazon, right? You want to make money. So I suggest at this stage you do get started. Start with a free WordPress theme, keep your costs low, don't get anything that you're paying monthlies on, like at this stage. You only got $500. Free theme, create content, use ChatGPT 3, all right? The next thing, this is going to be the next step that I would do, and now we're going to get into actually making some money. We've laid the foundation. We've kept the job. We've thought about the niche we want to be in. We're going to start creating content on that site and growing it and growing an email list. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to start getting and making some money. I used to say right now is where I would start doing retail arbitrage, right? Technically still could. I do not think it is the best move that you should do right now with all the facts we have right now. Requires you, if I'm trapped at Walgreens with my wife, I still enjoy scanning something, and seeing what could be, right? I think that'll never change. I think it's a reassurance, like if everything burned down, I still could supply my family, you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of that. But not a single program has come out from Amazon over the last, decade that has been pro reseller. Every single brand owner I know has never said, I love the fact that people can get a hold of my product and just resell it and knock me out of my own buy box and interrupt my ad. Like nobody loves that. Not a single brand owner does. So could you sell it? Yes. There's more stuff going before Congress now trying to which I'm not for this either, trying to stop people from being able to resell products from their brand on these platforms without the brand's permission. So the writing is really on the wall there. The industry, if you talk to a lot of these Amazon attorneys, if you will, or Amazon seller performance people that help people with problematic problems on their account, the majority of the problems stem from some issue about you reselling somebody else's product. Yep.
I'm also not sure if memory serves me well, but last December, just passed, weren't you saying that there were going to be new policies being rolled out by Amazon that impact the people that are participating in arbitrage? So having a minimum number of, am I making this up? About a minimum number of pieces or inventory that you need to be able to sell?
No, you might have been thinking about a conversation we were having about ungating, and it had to do with being able to show that you had X amount of inventory.
Maybe it was that.
That's the only thing I can think of that's close to that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me be clear, I don't think retail arbitrage will ever go away. It exists because of inefficiencies in inventory, and that's never going to become completely efficient. So as long as garage sales exist, there'll still be some form of arbitrage. And to be clear, you could still make a bunch of money on arbitrage. If you love that lifestyle and you want to do it, that's fine. It's just, I see the risk reward is way too risky. But at this stage, having said that, you only got $500 and not taking you miss all the shots you don't take. This is where I was saying you need to go out there and do retail arbitrage. And for those of you that don't know what retail arbitrage is, it's 50,000 foot view. You're getting an app, you're going to the store, you're scanning a product, seeing that it sells, let's just say $5 on the store, and it's selling for $25 on Amazon. You're like, oh my God, I'm allowed to sell this product. You buy it, and then you send it to Amazon. You list it and you send it to Amazon. A lot more involved between that, but for the purposes of today, that's what you're doing. You're getting a low-cost item at the store that might be on clearance, might be on a deal. You might have stacked coupons on to achieve this price, and you're selling it on Amazon for a higher price. It's a grind. It's a huge grind. And if you get sick for 2-3 weeks, hopefully you have a lot of product in FBA that can actually make you money because no one is out there sourcing for you, right? So it's a grind. Brands usually don't want you selling the product, but they don't know what to do to get you off. So what I'm going to recommend instead is I'm going to recommend Amazon Influencer Program as your starting spot. It requires as close to nothing as possible to get started. You might pay a couple dollars. So we connected you to Samir, or Sammer, I call him. Connect you to Sammer. Yeah. Connect you to Sammer. You could easily run a Facebook likes to page campaign and just do it yourself and get the followers. So you're probably looking at like 100 to 200 bucks right there to start. There's no other seller model that's going to let you start that easy. And you can do this from your house. As a matter of fact, you should stay at your house and do this. Not driving around spending gas, not wasting your time. At your house, start with all the products you have around your house and scan them. If I was starting over again, it's what I would do. A lot of the times here in the group we're talking about, and I don't know where it first started, but do 5 a day, right? If you're starting off and you have $500 and you are trying to get to $1 million in 18 months, no, you scan 8 hours. Scan all the hours that you have, not scan, list, take video reviews, AIP, Amazon Influencer Program. List reviews with all of the waking hours you have in the beginning. There's a lot of people on Facebook. There's a lot of people here in the group that are doing thousands of dollars per month. I think he found us lacking. He just looked and was like, nah, not my type of crowd. That are making thousands of dollars a month just reviewing stuff they have around the house. It's not going to get easier than that. I suspect in time the percentage you make off reviewing those products are going to go down. Even when they go down, this is still going to be a much better place to start. And it's going to set you up in a few moves here to be in a really strong position, a lot stronger than your competitors. Any questions on that so far? Everybody with me so far? Anybody disagree so far? Go for it.
How about if you have, starting out, right, you have $500 and instead of doing retail arbitrage or online or the influencer program, just trying to buy products from other Amazon sellers that are already doing well, that they're trying to wholesale their products?
I still don't think you should. I still believe that you would not come anywhere near the amount of money that you could make with the Amazon Influencer Program, because I had to think about this one for a second, but assuming that I have a product that sells, you could only buy $500 worth from me. Right. But you buy $500 worth, you send it into Amazon. Or even worse, probably, you do merchant fulfilled, and if you do, I wouldn't want you selling my product, because it's going to hurt my listing. So you send that product into FBA. It's going to be weeks before, best case scenario, weeks before you get that money back. Probably more.
Right, but also if you do the influencer program, it's going to take a while until you start making money. So.
You start making money immediately.
But not at like, what, a few dollars?
Oh, it depends. Well, for me, it was, I think Tom mentioned 57 cents. For me, it was like 30 cents. We're doing over $1 the next day. Well, we were doing 2 videos, 3 videos. Had I done a few hours of reviews, yeah, I'd be making a lot more by the end of that first month. A lot more than you could potentially make after Amazon fees and you buying wholesale the product from me, significantly more. Yeah, somebody else?
I think the thinking here is that, I mean, it's quite obvious, the more content you create, the more exposure that you get, the more money you're gonna make, right? So the only thing that I can say to the point that you just mentioned is that you're not gonna get paid until after 30 days, because the way the program works, you only get paid 12 times a year, once a month. Okay? But you make videos, you're gonna make money, bro, because people are selling, they're buying items constantly. You know, you make a video for a cheap item, you're gonna make a smaller percentage. You make a video for an expensive item, someone buys, you're gonna make a bigger percentage. But Carlos is spot on. You're gonna, the more content that you make, the more money you're gonna make. So, just make more videos.
It wouldn't be close.
And I think Tom had mentioned the other day that you can do more than one video for a product.
Absolutely.
It's not doing the same thing, so you could unboxing, review, 6 months after.
Yep.
As long as you get more videos on that carousel, you're the last click.
Yeah. I wouldn't focus on that to start, but 100%. We heard that on a podcast where the person that was doing listed some disgusting number. It was verified by everyone. Are you showing influencer stuff?
It's a supplement.
No, just, yeah.
Oh.
Private video.
So
It's gonna take you 60 days until you actually get a check from the influencer program to your bank account. So it does take you 60 days to get paid, and it's always 60 days in arrears. But as you continue to make more and more content, which is free for you to make in your house, you just need a phone. Like Carlos said, I mean, it's a pretty consistent way to kind of maybe help you get a little bit more cash in your account to give you more working funds for you to move forward.
And it would be a lot more than if you spent the $500 buying my product and reselling it after Amazon fees.
I have 1,305 videos up. So, and we started at the end of June. So I can tell
And do you
you,
want to share the number you're at?
in December, we made a little over $11,000. 1,305 videos.
Now, if you
And I
told
mean, it
me
didn't
that
start
when
off
I
with-
started, if you told me that when I started, I'd go get some energy drinks. No, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I mean, I would go get some energy drinks, make sure I had a charger with the power, and just tell everyone to leave me alone. And I might do that in 24 hours. Like, I mean, that's how hungry I was. Right? So like, and that number would have stacked even more. Like, when we started doing it, we had no idea. It was kind of like, let's just see, you know? But yeah.
So I don't know if I fully understand this influencer process. This conversation is awfully new to me. So is this I have a store and I'm selling, you know, reading glasses, and I'm an influencer talking about these things all day long?
Oh no, it's even easier than that. That's more of like an Amazon Live video. That's more of like a QVC, home shopping network type deal right here, and that's good. But that's a whole other animal. Like there's a lot that's logistically difficult to pull off. Well, I don't speak to doing commercials and live, whatever. I don't have to preaching to the choir here. So like, no, I'm talking about you have this at home. You don't buy anything. You already have it, and you just get a video saying, hey, I really like this speaker, we use it by the pool, something like that. You technically just post it, and it goes on Amazon for that listing. It's not your brand. It's not.
It goes under that.
So when you go, I'm suggesting this now, like we're rolling out an SOP to tell all the brands we work with to be like, hey, as part of a launch strategy, all these videos down here that are tagged on your listing, we want them to say what we want to say. So we need to reach out to Amazon influencers and fill those spots, because it's a limited amount of spots. So you don't have to own this brand. So you're just going to review it, and then you're going to go on Amazon and you're going to tag this ASIN on Amazon, and it's going to appear there. And anytime somebody looks at that video and then buys this product within 2 days, you make a commission off the product, right? So people are doing that. You start with the stuff you have around. You don't have to buy it from Amazon. You never have to have bought it from Amazon. You just have to be in possession of it and then do a review. But what's happening on the private label side, because I know this is and we're going to get into private label in a few steps, but what's happening on the private label side now is, and I think this is going to be a problem in 2024, and why I want to move towards let's fill those slots with our stuff, is let's say you're a competitor of mine. No one really wants to post a shoppable video, an Amazon influencer video, that's talking bad about the product. And the reason for that is what if they turn the sale away? There's no commission. But if I'm a competitor, I really don't care about the commission. I could just have bad stuff posted about your product. You have no idea what's going on. You're looking at your back end, you're looking at your PPC, you're looking at everything, like what the heck's going on? And you have some videos that are just saying, we love this, but our dog licked it, and we had no idea it was made with cocaine, and now my dog is won't stop running around the house, or something crazy. Amazon is not shutting down the listing, but it's negatively affecting your listing. There's also some people, I'm of the opinion that the majority of the videos that Amazon influencers put up, especially the Amazon influencers that are in it just to make money, and they're not trying to gain a position of authority in the niche of RC cars, right? The majority of them are not creating very high quality video. It's kind of like, what's the bare minimum necessary I got to do to put this up here and maybe arbitrage some money? Cool. So I think, with that being said, that the videos are not actually earning the conversion. It just happens to be the last video somebody saw, and then they bought the product, and Amazon is just doing last click attribution. That's it. So the quality of the videos are not, they don't have to be high. But that's what it is. You don't have to own the brand. As a matter of fact, you can't do it for your own brand. Everybody with me so far?
So you only make money if people buy from your video, not just by viewing or the impressions or.
If they click on your video and look at it, and then they make the purchase, and you're the last video they looked at, you will get the commission. Yeah, you'll get the commission off that product and anything else they had in their cart at the time of checkout. Yeah, so you see some really interesting stuff on your sheet as far like, I didn't list that, what the heck is this? And it was just something that they had in their cart. Okay.
How much is the commission?
It depends. It depends if there's a special going on. It depends on the category. But kitchen should be around 4%. So different stuff. Toys are much less, but the majority of our stuff we get from toys. We have a lot of toys with kids.
Carlos, I know you said, I know we're talking about Amazon, but you also said the possibility of branching out to other marketplaces, right? Similar
Yes.
program?
Right now, that's not as wide open on those other marketplaces as Amazon, but yeah, I'm hearing from people that are on them. I actually got to see a cool Loom video of the Walmart side of it, so I don't know if that means it's going to start. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to? And by the way, shooting it down or challenging it, like that's good. Like that helps everybody. Anybody else still have any questions on that? Oh, didn't you disagree as well?
It's not that I necessarily disagree. It's
Oh, you
just,
can raise your hand and disagree and then not back it up.
You know what? I'll just for sake of
No, just back
argument, I
What-
will disagree.
Okay, let's do it.
I think it's a great way to make money. It's just don't think that it's going to happen overnight because the videos need to index. You have to make the content. You have to potentially edit the content and then submit the content. That's fine. It's just
That's as close to overnight than any other model on Amazon. So basically, you can list it and start making money on it before you could even get your stuff into FBA on any of those other models.
But the issue is that the clicks just don't come in immediately. They sometimes take a while. Sometimes you get lucky and a product that you listed will then get clicks like 2 days or 3 days later, but that's not really the norm. So just be patient with it and then review as much stuff as possible. And if you want like best practices from me, like what I do, I'll literally just put like a pile of stuff to the right of me and then I'll just knock out like one product after the other. So I could do 50 product reviews in like no time if I just have the product and I just keep on filming. Like I'll cut, like I'll end it and then I'll start it back up. So speed is kind of like the name of the game. That's one thing. I think it does work really well. Like a lot of us are making money off of it already. So.
Yeah, Fernando, any questions on the stream before I keep going? No?
I think we went over it, but how do you get followers to apply for the program? Kind of went over it.
We'll cover that towards the end, 'cause I don't want to turn it into like it's an exciting topic, so it kind of takes we cover it a lot, and this is not like an Amazon. We're going to cover the Amazon Influencer Program in a couple weeks and a dedicated topic, but I would say join the Telegram now for the person that asks, wizardsofecom.com/chat, and then I'll add you to the influencer chat.
If you have a brand and store in Amazon, you can give product to some influencer talking about your product or not?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done, and there's more.
But directly through the Amazon, or you need to contact directly the people around?
You can do it directly on Amazon through brand creator. Ricky, what is it? Creator brand, creator network?
Creator Connections.
Creator Connections. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Real quick, sorry. So are you guys thinking like to hire people to review products to be able to get even more videos up? Like how do you guys plan on scaling up?
I think it makes sense at a certain point to hire someone, but at this stage, you're at $500.
No, right.
Right.
I'm just saying like, going forward, like what you guys are doing already.
I think it does make sense at a certain point to do that. It also just depends on how much fun you're having with it. Like,
Right.
I think it's important with all the stuff that we talk about. Like, I used to pick on, where's Gabe? I used to pick on Gabe about this too. It was like Gabe loves packing boxes. He loves box tape and boxes. He loves it.
Like prepping products?
He loves packing boxes.
He does, not because he has to do it.
Yeah,
He just loves doing it.
I didn't know that.
I was so unbelievably happy when I didn't have to do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so like you want to do what you love. Oh, there he's Gabe. Right? Am I right? I was like, but there's certain parts of my business like I want to do. I wish I could do 100% of my customer service. I love the challenge of customer service. I love crushing it. I feel like it has such a huge impact. I think that's a small hinge that swings the big door in my business, right? Other people, first thing they want to know is, so if I can get a VA, I can just not do my customer service. Like they want nothing to do with it, right? So everybody's different. I think you should do what you love in your business regardless of what level you're at. Like, So like, these are just like best practices that we talk about, but do what you love in the business. If you love the getting stoked, I suspect, I can't speak for Tom, but I suspect you have fun with it, and that you and Lisa do it, and all that stuff. So like, I keep doing it. You know, keep doing it. But the fact that you ask me that, it sounds like, I want to get this off my plate as much as possible. Can I have like 80 people just doing videos for me?
I mean, just to scale it, you know?
Sure. But he did it by himself, and
No, right,
I wouldn't
right.
have called him techie
Right.
in June of last year.
But I think it also helps you with another
Over
skill
10K
set,
a month,
right, too.
that's-
I mean, if you don't like to speak in front of the camera, it'll train you to do it. You just train yourself kind of to do it, so you're not and ahhing and everything else. So you're going to learn a new skill set that you probably didn't have in the past, and get a little bit more comfortable. And I do disagree a little bit with the editing. I don't do any editing. So if I can't get 50 seconds or a minute and a half out without, you know, correcting myself or getting it wrong, then I have that amazing button on your phone called delete, and just do it again, right? So get it done in one shot and upload it. So that's it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a couple videos, like, there's a lot of people, I guess, once they get started, they don't even show their face, they just,
Sure.
the product, you know, they're testing the product.
Right now, it's Wild Wild West. When I first started selling on Amazon, sometimes we didn't even put a main image, and we got sales. Yeah, I was like,
WTI recruits 150, was it 150, Carlos? 150
Yeah.
influencers. They broke the odometer. When you look at their site on Amazon, it has 10,000 plus posts. They
They have
stopped.
150
They stopped. They stopped being able to like show 10,000 to 1. They broke it.
and
So
they're
it's a
doing
10,000.
over $1 million a month.
They do.
They could?
That's
They're
as
doing
much
over
as
$1 million
no,
a
they
month.
can continue to post, but they're just
WTI,
not
company
showing the amount of
WTI.
numbers. They're at $1
Look up
million a
WTI,
month.
Amazon, and look
They're
at their
at $1
influence.
million a month.
They review products that
So
do over $1 million a month.
They hired some people.
There you go. Do a WTI model.
Yeah, okay, so let's do this. So we've gone from keep your job to plan out your PL or your brand. I actually hate the word PL. That's why I keep saying PL or brand. I think private label is more of a term. I don't like it in the Amazon space. It's usually synonymous with like the bare minimum I can do. Can I just slap my logo on this French press and go, right? So I'll create a brand, and then you start making money. So we start with the Amazon Influencer Program. I'm a big fan of doing things that are like, I don't know if this is flywheel, but like trying to do a bunch of things that are very similar. It just becomes very easy to do and systematize. So since you're going to be all in on Amazon Influencer growing this money, I highly recommend creating a Fiverr profile and creating a Fiverr gig that says, we review your product for an Amazon Influencer video. Because just like all of you guys freaked out right now talking about you have to create a video, other people are doing the same thing. And if you already have the setup and you already have your system where it's a pile of stuff right beside me and I just do it, you might as well put it out there for a gig. I actually, years ago, just for a buddy of mine who's like this very skilled marketer, we're at a bar in Miami Beach and he pulls out a card, it's plastic, to go pay for something, and it was a Fiverr credit card number. I'd never seen anything like that. Like Fiverr to me at that point was just something like I hired freelancers on. And I asked them about it. And I also felt like Fiverr was just synonymous with cheap, inferior quality labor. I'm wrong, but like that's what I thought. And he told me, he goes, oh man, Fiverr's awesome. I make a ton of money on Fiverr and it's a great lead generation source for me. And I was like, what? Like it just shattered all my preconceived notions of what Fiverr was.
So what do they do exactly?
So I treated it as a project and I opened a Fiverr profile, and the competitors to me, I became a Fiverr pro, top-notch Fiverr freelancer. So, and now it actually is pretty amazing. But we're gonna, I'd say like in the next 2 weeks, we have a gig coming out that's gonna be, we will record this video for you and post it on our Amazon Influencer account. So not only do we not have to find the product, people are gonna send us a product and pay us to do it, and then we're gonna get paid as Amazon influencers.
Yeah.
There was a bunch, we did the research on a bunch of Fiverr freelancers that are out there, and it seems like everyone has orders in their queue and they're charging $50 to do it. So I suspect that's gonna go a long way this year, but you need to make money at this stage. You're already doing Amazon influencer videos. I suggest you create a Fiverr profile and offer it as a gig. You should do well. The other thing I would do is I would create a profile on Join Brands. Same thing. Join Brands. Join Brands. It's either I think it's joinbrands.co. You put yourself up there and you just say, hey, I'm willing to do an X amount of second video doing blank. Take stock of what you have around you too, by the way. Do you have a balcony? Well, you know what? There's a lot of products that go on balconies. You put that out there, like we have that. Are you a weekend warrior and like Alex and pickleball master, I don't want to call you an athlete, right? But like, put that out there for the people that have sports products. They know how to work with you. There's a lot, and there's people that have sports products that don't want some ripped athleisure, athletic-looking person. They want someone that looks like them. I don't look like that, and I want to go out there and do some athletic stuff. So I'm more relatable. The boat, a pool, like yes. You have a beach in the back? Like what are all these things? A canal for a canoe and a dock. Like what are these things you have access to? Go on Join Brands, put all that stuff there, so that people who have products that are looking for people just like you are willing to do it. $100 a video. And again, the reason I'm saying this is because you're already going to be doing the Amazon influencer stuff, so why not? Same effort, same position, same computer, same camera, same audio, same process, same everything.
Your age.
Yeah, put all that stuff.
Your
Hey, look up a tall, young athlete. Me. That's what that's fit, young, tall athlete. That's my profile. I just copied my Tinder profile. No, I'm just kidding. I hope my wife's not listening. Okay, so like, that's what you're gonna do, right? And I suggest you do that for at least a few months. Person I know, highest person I know that's doing Amazon influencer stuff is over $1 million a month. Several other people I know online are in like the 25,000 range per month. The highest person I know making in the group actually that came through and said it was Tom. He's doing over $10,000 a month. So it's safe for me to say. And he started at 5 a day. So like, let's use the one that's here in the group, right? But at doing 5 a day, don't do 5 a day if you're starting at $500. You can do a lot more. You need to put Tom in your rearview mirror. So you're going all in on this. It is very realistic. It is very realistic. You know what I'm saying. It is very realistic. It's very realistic that under 4 months you're doing over $10,000 a month, and you've already started making money on month 2. I mean, we've done it, like doing it. Like I barely posted, and I'm doing close to $2,000 a month now. Like, and we barely post. So you do that, you ramp that. As soon as you get into that stage where you're doing the $10,000+ a month, right? I suggest as soon as you can put $10,000, $15,000 to the side, I suggest you start an Amazon wholesale business. So we're gonna add. You're gonna keep your foot on the gas with the Amazon influencer program, and you're gonna keep making that money, keep growing it, right? Because at some point during this next 18 months that we're going through, they could drop commissions, right? So keep your foot on the gas, keep going, and then I suggest you get an Amazon wholesale business. So what is an Amazon wholesale business? It's a horrible name for reselling on Amazon. When you think of wholesale, you just get completely confused with what the Amazon wholesale business is. Wholesale, you think of that you go out there and I contact Alex, and I'm like, hey Alex, I want to buy these products wholesale so I can sell them here at Wizards of Ecom. So I buy them at about half price, and then I sell them at full price in the store. That's what wholesaling is really. I'm not talking about that on Amazon. What I'm talking about on Amazon is reselling it, but buying it wholesale. So I go to Alex Fishing Supplies or Alex Pickleball or us, and I'm like, I want to buy your pickleball gear, and I want to be able to resell it on Amazon, right? And I probably already looked on Amazon and saw that there's a bunch of sellers selling it. None of them are Alex. You could tell this is not someone who's a private label brand owner who loves their listing. They might not even know how their products got on Amazon. And I would contact them, and I would say, hey, my name is so-and-so, I'm in South Florida, my business is the best thing since peanut butter, I want to be able to resell your product. And I would start reaching out to brands. Now, I get reached out to at least a dozen times a day by somebody telling me, I want to resell your product, we'll optimize your images. Or I want to resell your product and we'll do PPC for you, or something like that. Don't be one of those people. But it is a numbers game. You are going to get a lot more no's than you do yeses, okay? But remember, your lifestyle right now looks like you are in the AC of your house reviewing products, and you are doing at this stage, well over $150,000 a year. So like, you are not in a bad spot right now. You are not at the 1 million in gross sales we're talking about, but at over $10,000 a month, that's the range you're at. And all you're going to do now is you're going to open some wholesale accounts. At this stage, if you don't want to be the one opening those wholesale accounts, it is very easy to hire a VA to compile a call list for you the next day. I do not think you should hire someone that does not have sales skills to handle your sales calls. That is a monumental waste of time. But you're going to build a list, or you're going to build that list yourself, or you're going to have a VA build a list of brands that fit your criteria that you think, if they say yes, I want to sell their products. I'm not going to go deep into like how to validate wholesale opportunities or anything like that. But it is a given. Planes fly. There are plenty of people that are selling wholesale, and you make really. There's plenty of people that are 7, 8-figure sellers in their own right that are just doing wholesale, and it's a very doable thing. So at this point, we're like 6 months in, right? And for those of you that don't like the numbers that I'm about to say again, we have somebody actually here who's doing that just on the Amazon influencer side. At this stage, you should be pushing the $20,000 a month range between wholesale and Amazon private label. And this is pedal to the metal over 6 months, starting from 500. Anybody want to poke holes in this so far or unpack any areas or be like, hey, you forgot about this one part? Talk to me now. That's what the group's about. Everybody's with me? I would have pushed back if I were you.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can push back on.
Push back?
There's so much, you know,
Let's
like-
do start. Pick one. You're talking about the $8,000 gap between
I mean,
the 12 we left?
You can call, 50 wholesalers, and more than half will say no, and the ones that say yes,
You ever done it?
yes.
How many calls did you make per day? Did you call 50 per week?
No, not 50 per week. I call, I'll say 20 per week, and got a few no's, got a few yeses, and the yeses, the products either, it's just like too much prep involved, it didn't make sense, as far as, how much money I was making, or I wasn't making no money at all, or Amazon was already selling the product.
Right. I'm going to say this. I don't know anyone that succeeded in Amazon wholesale that was doing less than 50 calls a day. Like, I mean, hundreds. The conversion we'd have is like 10% that we'd get. So that means if I did 100 calls, I'd get 10 yeses, and of those 10, they weren't all a yes for me with the prices. So it is a numbers game, especially if you're doing it laptop lifestyle and reaching out. Unless you're going to trade shows, that percentage really changes for me if I'm going to a trade show and I can be in somebody's face and I can talk to them. The conversion rate goes up dramatically. Part of the reason why I think doing that many ridiculous, and for anybody that thinks that's a ridiculous amount of calls, like, please consider the scenario we're talking about. We're not talking about you do this for the rest of your life. But you are trying to reach $1 million in 18 months. You don't do that chilling, right? This is a grind year, right? So like 20 calls a week. This is not an attack on you, but this is going to help a lot of people in the group, us doing this. Like 20 calls a week. Anytime I've talked to somebody who's doing 20 calls a week, I'm like, can I see the list? And they show me the list. I'm like, talk to me. Like, what did you do today? And they're like, wow, first thing in the morning, 9 a.m., I called. And I'm like, and he goes, you know what? He goes, half the people didn't answer. And I was like, these addresses are on the West Coast.
Expenses.
You know what I mean? It was 6 a.m. for these, right? Like, I mean, so like, there was so much there that I was like, and then the other thing is, if you've never done sales, you suck at sales in the beginning. Like, it's just the only way to get good is to suck for a while that I know of. I mean, anybody else in the sales, you can totally be different. But if you want to get good at sales, suck at sales for a while, but just do it. Actively suck at sales. And you just magically start getting better. I've looked at courses, I've looked at all kind of stuff, and like, I stay away from scripts. But that's another thing. Did you use a script? Did you go to a course and they said, say this, say that? Yeah. So like, I sucked, and then I was like, I kept getting stuck on questions, and I was like, I kept trying to get ahead of that question and get ahead of the question and get ahead of the question. My conversion rate now is amazing on that. But you don't do it at 20 a day. So I can tell you, yes, you're going to get more no's. But you don't need a high percentage of yeses, right? And some of these cases, some of these brands, you open a brand like one of the brands I opened with a long time ago, a brand called Metro Cane. They had like a 10,000 SKU catalog. I could do $1 million in sales off them. I didn't have enough money to buy the amount of money to buy to do $1 million in sales. Remember, you're not going to be at that stage either right now. But you only need one. But yes, you're going to have to grind. Like, you'd have to do a bunch of calls at this stage to get those accounts. What other pushbacks though? That was a good one. Okay. Was that the strongest one?
I mean, it's a lot,
Yeah. It's like waking up and doing this and really not wanting to do this and wanting to do, but pushing yourself past that. Yeah, I don't want to paint this as an easy thing.
Yeah, you get so many no's, that it's like.
It's discouraging. Yeah, and that's why people don't do good on wholesale. I find that people that have sales jobs or were into real estate, which I guess is the type of sales jobs, crush it with wholesale. And the thing, I think the reason is because the only way they were able to survive doing that is they didn't just want to crawl up in a ball and die when they got told no. Like, no didn't paralyze them. But yeah, it's demoralizing. I get it. If not, today's topic would be how to do 30,000 in 18 months. Right? All right, so we've gone from don't quit your day job, plan out your PL, you're posting content through this time on the free WordPress site so you can get a content first approach going. We got the Amazon influencer program going, we got Fiverr going, we got Join Brands going. The other thing that's happening during this time that's also pretty lucrative and is becoming even more lucrative for my wife and I is just the sheer amount of Chinese agents that are reaching out to us. I think we're at like 3 or 4 a day. I don't know the exact number, but I get 3 or 4 a day that are reaching out to us. And how they're finding us is we just added some social media accounts to the top of our influence. Like we're not really doing much outreach. And when you do get one, they usually don't have just one product. So it's a pretty deep well. And some of these people are just representing multiple brands. So it's like, it's an endless amount. It starts with one, you get on the same page, yes, they sent you the money, and then it's a tsunami of stuff that's coming. Like we have to create a totally different pile of what the stuff we'd like to do and the stuff that I guess we now need to do because of the, someone's gonna pay you for this. Right. So at that, once you get the wholesale side, so you have, at this stage, you're 12 to 15 a month in Amazon Influencer Program. I would wait until your wholesale stuff's getting to about 10,000 a month, 12,000 a month. Remember, we're talking about gross sales too, which I think this is just an exercise to see if we can get to $1 million. I don't think that's a good thing to like let your end all be all focus be. There's a lot of people that are broke at 7 figures, right? So, but for the purposes of this, right, assuming that we're looking at profit margins and you're not just buying these like $6,000 TVs that you make $1 on and you're flipping them and like inflating your gross number, but at this stage, you should be at about 45, 50 a month. I would pull out about 30 to 50K. I would not go straight to private label, and I would do PL wholesale hybrid. We've talked a little bit about PL wholesale hybrid here. Hopefully the timing lines up here, but this PL wholesale hybrid, which I'll unpack a little bit what that is right now. So this is a model that's been around forever. It gained a lot of popularity, regained a lot of popularity about 1.5 years ago when Ramon actually revisited it and was doing really decent on it on a card game. And I was like, hey, I don't think we've ever talked about this in the group. Do you mind coming in and doing a presentation? So he came in and did a presentation on it. Everybody loved it. Some people took off with it. So like what this looks like. I do bad examples, but I've been beat up a little bit for using examples that somebody actually is doing, and I don't want to put anybody's product out there or create any enemies now. So like, let's just do this. It is very easy to open up an account with cookies and Keebler cookies, like they're in Doral. And if you were to sell Keebler cookies and buy from them, you can get an invoice, you can get ungated, you can sell them. There's no money in it, there's no profit margin in this thing, right? And you're dealing with like 100 other resellers that are all willing to make a penny. Not a good business model, right? However, you could go on AliExpress. Are you guys twins? No son gemelos.
He's older, 1 year older.
Really?
Yeah.
I just noticed that. You guys look identical. Son gemelos.
Some people tell us that, some people. Like,
But you're brothers.
like, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank God. It's like your parents need to talk if you don't think you're brothers. Like, okay, so the cookies you have, right? So what you do is you go to AliExpress and you're like, you know what? AliExpress, not Alibaba, we're not mass producing anything. We need something quick. Go to AliExpress and get some, you know how you dip cookies? I dip cookies and maybe I don't want to get my thing. So you get some picks or some tongs or whatever you want to get to dip your cookie in milk, right? You probably get it for like 2 pennies, right? You get it over here. Now you have Keebler and you have the tongs. What I recommend you do here, and this is where people make a mistake, if you just create a listing that has the tongs and the Keebler together and you call them your brand and you did not reach out to the brand and let them know what you want to do. You're looking for a problem and down the road. But what I do is I just contact the brand. I was like, hey, a lot of these brands especially don't want you to sell their product on Amazon. So I say, hey, I don't want to sell on your listing. I don't want to do it. I want to create a totally different listing. And it's just going to be a pair of these tongs and these cookies together under my brand name on Amazon. And what happens is, on day one, do you know how much search you have? Massive, because you have Keebler in the title. You have Keebler in the title, and you didn't have to pay your way up into search to get it. So I call it a private label wholesale hybrid because that's what it is. You're getting an existing brand, and you're matching it with another product. The trick here is, like, don't get complicated here. Make sure that other little product that you're pairing it with to enhance the value of the experience, make sure it's not a complicated product, right? The idea here is that you're getting something very simple, and you're putting it together to create a whole new listing that has a ton of existing search already on the listing. You're getting exposure on day one. Does that mean you do not have to run paid ads? No, but it's much, much, much cheaper. Your conversion rate on a known product such as Keebler is very, very high. And you're getting conversions on day one. Question in the back.
On the new product, do you use the name of the brand or your brand?
Your brand, well, you use both. Yeah, you'd use both. You'd still have your brand name in the front of the listing. Your hyperlinked branded storefront is going to be your brand, though. That's the beauty of this right here.
That you are selling, for example, a bottle of water. So you say Carlos.
Let's give some other examples. And hold on, let me ask something before I don't want to get anyone in trouble. The soup, no, the soup, no, I'm not going to do yours. I don't want to do that. What the soup one, without saying what it is that anybody's here?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so ramen noodle soups.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Ramen noodle soups. You know what those are, right? To make this even less complicated, several people have gone out and got all the different flavors of these sodium high ramen noodle soups that I can't eat anymore, otherwise I need to take medication, right? But like, they got a bunch of them together, and they packaged them into one sampler pack, variety pack, whatever you want to call it. And guess what they added? Can anyone guess? You can't. Anybody that's heard this before, don't say it. Which is Tom and Gabe, I believe. Huh?
Chopsticks?
Chopsticks. Anybody want to guess what their chopsticks cost on AliExpress?
Cents.
Not a penny. Not a penny. Much less than a penny. I don't even know the number or what that's called. I know it's a right? But they patterned them together under their brand name.
But did they reach out to ramen to do that?
You can list it on Amazon, and in some cases, if you can list it, you can list it. I think that's bad form. In my experience, when I first started selling, I don't want to be a hypocrite here. That's why I'm getting into this story, not to let you hear it. I was very like, ask for forgiveness instead of permission, right? When I started, it's changed now, right? Before, when I used to order these products from brands, they were like, wow, this guy's brick and mortar store is selling more than all of our brick and mortar stores combined. Everyone buys a master box. He's buying 8 pallets. They didn't connect the dots that I was just funneling this straight into FBA, right? That's not the case anymore, right? The other thing I've learned just over like 15 years of doing this whole time is that the number one thing you have going for you in this business is relationships, right? The massive ROI is coming from relationships. So I really don't want to resell your product unless we've spoke. Because like, I got a lot of ideas and I want to grow and do other things, and if I don't have that relationship, that's nothing. It's really not that valuable. There's just other places I can build the relationship. So to your point though, you technically in some cases can list it. If when you go to list it, they don't block you being like, hey, we need permission that you're able to sell these, then you can sell it. Just don't. I think that's a short-term model. What happens if you start going crazy and you're making a bunch of money and you're putting your kids through private school and all of a sudden Ron reaches out and says, we're not dealing with you anymore. You need to shut this down. I don't want to be in that position, right? I don't have to pull the kids out of jiu-jitsu. Wife will be pissed, right? No, so it depends. But ask them. Did they do it in that case? I don't know them specifically. I actually don't know the people that did this. I see what happened. Some people get abusive with it. Like, create value here. Don't get like what some of these people are doing with Prime Water, and they're including a sticker, right? And they got like, what's going on here? It's like like a just do it or something crazy, like motivation sticker with the Prime Water. Like, that's horrible. That's not adding any value. It also breaks the rules, because the rules technically say that if you bundle products together, right, putting products together. The product that costs the most is what the brand name needs to be. The thing is, the actual cost of some of these products is very up for debate, and no one's ever like, not only can it not be proven, but what is the cost of the noodles on the soup? Not what they retail them for.
Right.
It's the cost. So my chopsticks might be more expensive than the little wafer of noodles that you have in there with the plastic. So it's very debatable and you get away with it. But a sticker, I think, is very obvious. This one little round sticker on a 12-pack of water, right? So you can get a few different brands and put them together, or match them with, either way, you create your own brand. So instead of going, you have this cash cow going on of $45,000 to $50,000 a month. Instead of going into just straight into PL and tying a bunch of your money up for however many months it's going to take to get your brand over here, go into PL wholesale hybrid first. The reason why is because your time to market is going to be ridiculously fast. I like PLMA, Private Label Manufacturers Association, for this. I've gone pretty much every year except COVID. It's in November. We go as a group. We just went, had an amazing time. I don't know if have you acted on any of the contacts you got from there yet? Are people already acting on it? If you go into the Wizards of Ecom app and you go to the bottom right, where's Andres? Where's the picture on? He left?
He left.
You go to the bottom right, it says files. And in there we have the complete digital catalog of everything in PLMA. I also have a Loom video that shows you how to use ChatGPT to query it. Which is amazing. I wish that existed a long time ago. But you can get any of these suppliers and just match them with products. So like, the products are already in the US, or it's made in the US. There is no dealing with China, there's no dealing with all this stuff, and just match it with something that you can have sent over rapidly from AliExpress. So you technically could have this product in FBA in under 60 days. So like, versus full-blown private label. That's why I'm liking this. You with me so far? Anybody want to poke holes in it? I went down a little rabbit hole. We'll wait till you're done with your Anybody? A little more exciting? Poke holes in it. Come on, I'm relying on you here. Keep me honest.
I mean, can other sellers jump on that if they are able to get the same, because it's your brand name, right?
It's your brand name. It's a play on words, but it's a different, that's like saying if you source chopsticks from the same person, same factory that makes those chopsticks, can they just call them your chopsticks and sell them? No, it's your IP that's on it. It's your UPC.
But they can get chopsticks and call it something else.
They could create their own listing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. It's right to think about like what could happen, but in my experience, outside of this group and people that are coming to events like this on Saturdays and stuff like that, people are not that smart to do that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the majority of the time when I first started talking about PO wholesale hybrid, the majority of the conversation was people giving me excuses as to why it wouldn't work. Even though we're like talking about people who are actually doing it, it was still trying to convince us that it wouldn't work. So the majority of people are like that. Other people wouldn't know to do it.
So you'd want to have a brand associated with the chopsticks, and you're going to create your own case and
Right.
number, and you're going to sell the ramen noodles or.
Right. The big one is the brand that you have in the PO wholesale hybrid is a known brand, or on Amazon, it has a bunch of traffic, has a bunch of search traffic to going to it. Like that's your bonus. Otherwise, you're just starting if you get a generic soup brand and put them with chopsticks, like there's no search for that.
So like we have a brand, we use 3D glasses as an example.
Sure.
We're kind of unique, we do a nice business on there, but we as our own company could come up with a unique set of cases for the glasses, and then almost as a separate.
If your glasses already have a bunch of search, and you're trying to create a new business and growing your cases, is that what's going on?
Well, we do business just in these.
Right.
And there's some search, and it's not huge, but there's some nice little business on it. So if we're wanting to see.
Somebody throw the mic, by the way. Can somebody throw a mic his way, by the way?
I can talk louder. If now we want to kind of, we're losing some traction, we're losing some traction on this. I want to pump some life into it, or kind of come in as.
So adding SKUs to your line is one topic.
Yeah.
This one would be more of, like if you wanted to use a PL wholesale hybrid model to juice some
Yeah.
stuff on this side. What I would do is, let's say, and I don't know the brand's name, but let's say there's like half a dozen or one, whatever, of these name brand cases for glasses. They don't sell glasses. They sell cases for
Yeah.
glasses. That's their thing. And they have a lot of search to them.
Yeah.
It would be getting a hold of that brand and talking about which one, because that brand probably does not want you reselling on their listing. But if you're bringing in extra sales and you're off their listing and you're not going to interrupt their ads, they're going to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you put that together, now what you've happened is you're injecting a lot of additional search for your products because you're selling the glasses.
Yeah.
The other thing it would allow you to do is, let's say the glass cases had a map price of $80, right? Since you're putting it together as a bundle, you technically could lower your price where people see the case now as more of a deal, even though you're backing it off of the glasses and you're still in compliance with the brand of cases, is one. Second, the second one is you're increasing your average order value. And you're going to be able to get a lot crazier with your pay-per-click advertising and pretty much dominate now because of just what you're selling that product for, and you're not paying 2 FBA fees, you're paying 1.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of cool stuff can happen there. That's how I would approach it if I was trying to resurrect an existing brand. This would be more of someone went from 500 and they don't have a brand of their own yet.
Yeah.
They want to get that started though. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're gonna do that, right? Say for instance, if you're reaching out to these wholesalers and these products are not making sense, right? That the price that you can get the products from the wholesalers, they're not making sense. But if you buy the product and you add something, that goes with that product, you can help the price.
Correct. So knowing that the PL wholesale model is an option, when we go back to that other step where we were first just calling wholesalers, this sounds bad, no doesn't mean no, right? But like, no, there's a reason why it's no. No might mean I don't want to sell to you. You could sell online, but you also have to have a traditional brick and mortar retail. No could mean we already have enough Amazon sellers, like we don't want you selling it. But when knowing what their no is, you can go in and say, well, I'd like to, and you tell them about your idea of putting, they sell cutting boards. Well, you want to put that with a knife or something that cleans cutting boards or something else. It becomes a totally different conversation. Not super relevant to the topic today, but a lot of the times no just means they don't want you to sell in the US, but if you turn around and say, listen, I'd like to sell your products on Mercado Libre. I'd like to sell your products in Canada. They're just so intimidated of selling online, period, when they're just too intimidated of Canada. You'll sell our products on Canada? The whole dynamic of the conversations change. Right? So you do get a yes. And in those scenarios I found, after placing a few orders, money is like this amazing language.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And all of a sudden you got in really good with Betty and you sent Betty your birthday present and now you're all of a sudden magically allowed to sell in the US.
Yeah, bestie.
Right? So like just find out what that no is and then go. One of the ones we did was, there was a thing of like a native tan type of suntan lotion, and they had these different scents, and they were all standard size. We just went to them and said, hey, I noticed you don't have a travel size. Like, we would like, and this is off topic, but this is how you make the most of those calls, right? We're already on the phone, you're telling me no, okay, why? I already have my Amazon sellers. Well, I would like to create a travel size version of this already hot selling suntan lotion. I'll fund it. Which, again, you don't have to satisfy a minimum order quantity. They already do this with the factory, right? You just want to, I just want to be able to sell this and I'll put the money in for the packaging and everything. Your product on day one is going to be a variation. My product on day one was a variation on a listing that was ranked 80, right? Like, it's wild, right? So like, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do when you know like PL wholesale hybrid is an option at the wholesale level when you're trying to close accounts.
So on one hand, we're saying you take the branded cookies and you take your own cookie dipper.
Or Orville Redenbacher
Whatever.
and some food grade gloves so you don't get butter on your fingers.
Do you ever think of taking
both those items that both have brands, recognized brands associated with them, and put them together? So you're buying, from Williams Sonoma, Cookie Dipper with the Oreo cookie, whatever. Now you got two very strong names, or does that get difficult?
So the reason that becomes difficult is now anyone that has an account with both of them can list against you. There's none. Like, I have an account with Williams Sonoma, I have an account with this one, I can put them together too. Now, what you could do is the more you put together into a listing, as long as you insert your PL in there, the more complicated it's going to be for other people to even try to have their own listing to compete. So if this person with the ramen got the different flavors of ramen, yes, they could get an account with ramen and create their own listing on Chopsticks, but if you did it with ramen, and you did it with another brand, and you did it with another brand, and then you put them together in like a spicy bundle pack of their spiciest of the instant soups, you've created additional friction because maybe they can get an account with one, but they can't another.
So the bigger the bundle, sometimes maybe
Sometimes.
not bigger, but yeah, I got it.
Sometimes. But you're also increasing the average order value, which is great, but it also puts you away from, you're moving away from a volume model at that point because it's a bigger ticket. But that's not bad either, but it's just things to be aware of. But the idea is if you don't insert your PL and you put in additional brand names, yes, it's going to have more eyeballs, but you're almost guaranteed to start sharing the box on that listing because other people can get those accounts as well. If you can do it and get exclusivity on one of the products in the bundle, then you're good, right? So like say you got a Williams and Sonoma thing and then you went over to Guy Fieri's whatever and he's putting his chef knife in, I don't know, he put his whatever in there and you let him know, hey, I want to get exclusivity on Amazon for this one product that I'm going to be putting in this bundle. You could even sell it one-on-one, or straight up, but just in this bundle, I want to have exclusivity outside of this listing. And they say, yes, as long as you can lock in one component of that, then it's option. But that's more bundling. Yeah, that's bundling versus PL wholesale hybrid. That's the main differentiator. Your PL is inserted in one and not the other. Make sense?
I think it's very clever. Your mind thinks, what product can I do? But this opens up a whole new universe of concepts.
Absolutely. Okay.
When does that not work?
In my opinion, when the brand says no. Or stops supplying you.
Is that the only?
That's the only thing.
So why not just do that instead of like the wholesale?
You totally could. You totally could. I feel that the startup dollar amount needed to do them is about the same. It can be about the same. If I had to say one gets slightly higher, though, it would be in the PL wholesale hybrid thing. The other one is, if you have the skills to do it, I would say, if you have the knowledge and the skills to do it, maybe go straight PL wholesale hybrid. But when you bring in the PL part of that hybrid, you need to know about branded storefront. You need to be ready for ads. Whereas I don't recommend you sell wholesale, Amazon wholesale, where you need to run ads, that you need to. I recommend, like the whole goal here is I want to just piggyback on products that you have, that your marketing team's doing amazing, you're ignoring this on Amazon, I just want to piggyback. And on the brand, you're going to be responsible for the packaging, you're going to be responsible for like your UPC, the creation of all that branding, because it is your brand. And in the next step, we're going to build on that, all right?
Don't you think it's better to look for wholesale relationships that already have other wholesalers on Amazon? So if I was looking at Ray-Ban sunglasses, instead of just having Ray-Ban sell those sunglasses, I want to see 7 or 8 other sellers of Ray-Bans on there, and then I can approach the brand and say, listen, instead of it being a race to the rock bottom and everybody's fighting over the points, I'm gonna take this on and I'm gonna bundle it, I'm gonna private label my own sunglass cleaner or sunglass cloth, put my trademark on it, and I'm gonna go to the brand and say, I'm gonna protect the pricing and integrity of your brand. I wanna sell it for more money than everybody else who's trying to race to the bottom and fight over points.
Yeah,
So,
if you're looking at a listing and it has one seller and it's Amazon themselves direct, or you're looking at it and it's, the brand is called We Life Water and it's sold by We Life Water, in those scenarios you don't want to see it. But if you see a brand and you see 8 other resellers on it, you're like, okay, like somebody's getting access to this inventory. The question then, then it's better, like you just said, to have the conversation. But sometimes what happens though is you go talk to the brand, and as soon as you're like, hey, I noticed you got people selling on Amazon, they're like, yeah, well, our lawyers are working on that. You know, like they have no idea, or they're buying them from Walmart, or anytime there are big box, these promos going on in big box retail, there's arbitrage opportunities happening, which goes back to the topic earlier, which is like, a lot of these brands don't want arbitrage sellers to exist, you know? Candy, like all that other stuff, like you do deals in the stores, you're gonna deal with resellers, so you gotta start playing dirty with transparency, and you gotta be like, it's a nightmare, right? It's losing control of your supply chain. That's usually what happens with that brand in that case. But if you can get in there and fix that, then the brand thinks you're like the Messiah. You know, like they'll give you stock.
Getting into that's a great way to start off for full PL, but now we enter the cash flow game. Right?
Sure.
So now it's a matter of getting 15, 20K we'll make a month. Now we got to invest in inventory, warehouse, packaging.
See, but what we did here is we got this to, we were at over $50,000 a month that we're making in. So we're at 50,000, let's call it 50,500, right? We're getting,
That's a good amount.
yeah, we're not at 50,500, but we're making 50,000 a month, right? And hopefully we didn't go out and buy a yacht, and we didn't go out and buy all these things. So we have an accumulation of money here, right? It is Miami, and I'm gonna tell you from experience, from being like totally broke and getting an exit, that first exit, oof, man, I never knew I was like the ladies' man. Everyone wanted to talk to me, and it was amazing. And money runs fast. $1 million doesn't get you very far in Miami. Looking at a few cars, looking at a few things, and you're just done. And you're like, oh my God, like ribeye is expensive. Like, you know, so like, yeah, so like, but you're stockpiling this, and now you're looking at people. Yes, you are tying up some inventory, but some cool things here. One of the biggest hits you're going to see as a private label seller, it's like the million cuts, it's never going to end, and it's by design, is your ad spend. You're going to keep paying, and you're going to keep paying, and you might have to pay for a team or an agency, or you're paying out. With a PO wholesale hybrid model, it doesn't look like that. Most brands pay to be able to get the traffic that Keebler, in this example, already has. So like, you do run some ads, but it's not to that extent, right? You're also dealing, in most cases, with a product that has a higher order average value. So your profit per sale is much higher. Your cost per acquisition is much lower. So it's a much better scenario. It's not as dire as, like, you know, like you're running a brand, right. And I was like, I'm putting everything with my firstborn into this thing, like.
And we're looking at PR hybrid. There's no straight to Amazon fulfillment centers. It has to stop to me first, and you put these two packages together.
Depends on the product. Depends on the product. You could deal with a prep center that can kit and put these things together, which a lot of them do. You could work with one of the suppliers that probably has the more complicated component. Like, say you're dealing with a supplier that has a shampoo and you want to put a scrub thing, right? You probably don't want to ship the shampoo anywhere. So I would try to work with the co-packer, and I would be like, hey, can I just ship my scrubbies to you? You want to, it depends. If it's coming to you, then obviously think about if you're shipping it to your house, because you're probably first starting and you don't have this like amazing facility yet, I would say, you know, definitely make sure that shipping is not going to destroy you, and check with your significant other, because I can tell you they get very mad when containers show up to your house and start dropping stuff in the driveway. I'm telling you from firsthand experience. They don't like it. No bueno. So check with her. Don't put it on me. Check with her. Check with her. I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu, and she's going to put me in a mata leon because you had a container go to your house. Yeah, night, yeah. So, everybody with me so far? We good on that? Yep.
What do you mean by other sellers playing dirty, transparency?
Yeah, so what happens is you go, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, I'll use one. So I used to do all the stuff for, I still do a lot of it for Capillis, Irish Store, Rogaine, some big players in the like hair restoration space. And restoration, did I say? I hope they're not listening. So doing that stuff, they also sell a ton in retail stores, right? So the retail stores are always pushing for promotions and all kind of breaks and stuff like that. So arbitrage sellers know about this stuff, and they're everywhere. It's not like this is a thing that only happens in Miami, you know what I mean? They're everywhere, and they'll clear it out, and they'll stack it with coupons and local coupons and their points on their card and all this stuff here. And in some cases, they wind up getting the product cheaper than the brand somehow. and they're able to sell it at a cheaper price. So it starts interfering with what the brand is trying to do on Amazon. It's not like the brand's saying, I don't want you to eat, but the brand's saying, you're not letting us eat. And eventually we're gonna go out of business with this model that you're trying to put into play. You're not gonna have anything you can resell. So since there's no way for the brand to communicate with the reseller, I can tell you this from being on the brand side and also being on like the side helping the brands and being the reseller, is Amazon doesn't have a mechanism in place that lets you easily just communicate what's going on with the buyer. And it's very frustrating. You want to get the buyer suspended if you're the brand, and the reseller is like, I have rights, I'm an American, I bought this product, I get to resell it, right? So brands got desperate over the years. And I have been guilty of this before. I'm like, okay. I like to be white hat here with what I'm doing, but I'm not okay with getting crushed in Q4 because you want to make 25 cents on this product. So I get a bunch of my buddies together and we buy the product from you and we spike your order defect rate and get you suspended. Or we do a test buy and make up some baloney in a picture showing how your product is counterfeit. Or, right, or the newest one that's, it's an abuse of the program, but in most cases it's working great, is the transparency program. So transparency is mostly designed so that we can prove, authenticity of the product from manufacturer all the way to you. And apparently you're gonna buy something on Amazon and get an app and scan and see if it's authentic. Nobody does that. But what happens is, with transparency, I can take control of the inventory that's on FBA, and I can just say, hey, all of my stuff has transparency code from the manufacturer level, and then I'm gonna kind of bifurcate my products. I'm gonna say all my stuff that goes to the storefronts is not gonna have codes. And inventory I have earmarked to go to Amazon, I'm gonna put transparency codes on them. Again, that's not what the program is made for. It's breaking the rules of the program. But when you do that, what happens is you as the reseller are gonna have X amount of time to get that inventory out of Amazon and eventually not be able to sell it. If you're a savvy seller, there's stuff you can do to prove that they're abusing it and get them kicked out of the program. But most people don't know how to do that. And even then, it's not 100% that you're gonna be able to get them kicked out of the program. But brands have kind of been forced to resort to that. So those are some of the dirty games. The other one that we've been known to do is we'll reach out to the brand. We'll get their contact information. We'll try on LinkedIn. We'll try to do everything. I remember, I'm a seller too. Everything possible to keep you whole. But if I can't, man, I just get a bunch of people and we'll buy all your inventory and rip the top off the box and then return it. Yeah, we'll just rip the top off the box and return it. And now all your inventory's back and it's all unsellable. So that's what I mean by dirty games. Like, I don't do that just because I have a competitor and I'm like, oh, I don't like you. This is my category. No, but there's dirty games, and those are just some of the ones I feel comfortable saying here. I don't want to put some of them out. Like, yeah, that's what I mean.
I have one question.
Yep.
If you get suspended on transparency label program, you also get suspended on Amazon? Or
No, you don't get your Amazon seller account suspended, no. As a matter of fact, I know people that have been suspended from the program, got back in the program, suspended from the program, and I think a third time, and you don't get suspended from Amazon. No. Yeah.
What about,
Are we dropping bombs here or something? Like,
what about if you start a business trying to sell it at the same time, Shopify, Amazon, and retail, omnichannel? It's okay? What do you think
not for your peace of mind. It's going to be a royal pain in the butt to do all that, and it always is. But like, if you're a brand, I suggest you do a Shopify, and I suggest you do. Well, like I was saying in the beginning, I think this is the this year that just passed, I think is the last year that brand owners or private label owners could approach Amazon and just be like, I don't have a Shopify store or WordPress, whatever. I'm just saying Shopify is like a fill-in, but like, I don't have a Shopify store. I'm just going to sell on Amazon. Like, there are literally programs out there now that you are not taking advantage of as an Amazon seller if you don't have a storefront. Operating now without putting an emphasis on your email is getting closer to Russian roulette as a brand than I feel comfortable with. So Shopify is phenomenal. Having a website is phenomenal for that. It requires an additional skill set. Yes, but you got to be able to adapt. That's what it is. I wish we could just not have to take pictures or anything and just post products and they magically sold, but that's just not the way it is. So yeah, I think having a Shopify brand is just the responsible thing to do nowadays. If you had an ad budget though, I wouldn't put, and you were just starting on Amazon, I wouldn't put more than 20% of that ad budget into the store. I would put the predominant of it on Amazon. Well, if you're just starting a brand, I mean, I would put some budget in Google and Facebook and like all this other stuff, but like your resources and your time, just because you have a Shopify store doesn't mean you should put half of your efforts in Shopify and half of it on Amazon. Yeah. Even if you add up all the other platforms we're on and stores and everything, it comes out to like less than 10% of what Amazon does, and that's with great shelf position, great everything. It's less than 10%. What have you done a percentage like Amazon versus other stuff?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're probably 80% other. But you know our
right. Yeah. So
that example.
yeah. Any other thing? I want to move on to the last one, which I think some of you are going to guess like what that next piece of this is going to be. Any questions on this so far? No? All right. The last one, at this stage, you're doing well over $100,000 a month, right? Get a PO wholesale hybrid going. At this stage, you should be in excess of $15,000 a month from the Amazon Influencer Program, or higher, depending on how many hours you're still putting into this with everything else that's going on. You know, you've probably hired some VAs, so it's not all going to the pocket. But between that, wholesaling, PL wholesale hybrid, and now you're getting into private label. So we've already achieved this gross number of what we'd be doing in 18 months, but touching for just a little bit on private label. I am not a believer in like that there is this one filter criteria that you can use on Jungle Scout or Helium 10 that's just gonna like crank out profitable, safe private label products. I think that's like baloney. I do think those tools are really good to validate ideas that you have to make sure that there's a market for it. But for discovery, I think they're garbage. If you wanted to look at a spot right now on Amazon for private label, and in this stage, you would have the funds to do it. Okay, so keep in mind, that's what I'm talking about. At this stage, you have the funds to do it. The sweetest spot on Amazon right now, where not a single person is talking about really cost per click or anything like that, is higher ticket items. So if you get into higher ticket items, bigger dollar amount items, if you're selling a product that's like 20 bucks, you're never gonna love your ACost no matter who's running. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of fees going on Amazon right now. Ad spend's really going up, but higher ticket items, like if you're selling products in excess of $100, $150, if you're doing over $250, you probably think Amazon is the best thing in the world, and you should only look at Amazon, right? So if you wanted to just say, I want to come up with something right now that's like not going to give me a lot of headaches on Amazon, you still need to do your product research. I'm not just saying find some random thing for 250 bucks. And the numbers still need to make sense, and you still need to make a really healthy profit. But no one in that price range on higher ticket items is talking about any issues that they're having with hijackers, with a bunch of people jumping on their listing, competitors, rising cost per click in advertising. There's like no complaints. They think they're still in dream mode, right? I think they should still have a Shopify site, but if you wanted, like, when we get into PL, obviously we don't have time to do like a full exhaustive like PL, which we're going to be doing some of those soon. That is the sweet spot to be on. It's very likely. I lost video. Okay. Yeah, it's very likely that the really lost video. That's really weird. We're about to wrap up anyway, so like, it's what was I saying? The video thing threw me off.
Sweet spot.
Sweet spot. Yeah, sweet spot's the higher dollar amount. That's it. I lost track. Any questions on anything so far? That was as far as we got. That in that case, we're well over the
highest dollar amount. What is the sweet spot?
Where it's sweet is 100 bucks. Oh, look at this example. Look at it. I started this product with somebody else. Not my brand, but I started it with them. Everything about this. So, person wanted to get into Bluetooth speakers, Bluetooth wireless speakers. I think that is a place where money goes to die, right? Like, it's just horrible. Like, I came back. So, like, the brand names that you're competing with in that space are just globally known. I think Beats and like all this other stuff, like competing on some of those keywords, like you just have to be okay with hemorrhaging money for a long time. You know what I mean? And in my case, that's never really the position I wanted to be in when I started a brand, right? So my next step that I talk to you guys all the time about is differentiating. And this is where it starts getting a little, where me and a lot of other people start separating here, is a lot of people want to test this before they put a bunch of money in it. Like, let me just test, let me just, I'm all for that. But if you're not differentiating on Amazon, you're really not going to make a lot of money. So in this case, this person, we decided to create a mold. And the mold here is this person's background. They work in a bullet manufacturing facility. They're into this kind of stuff. This is a Claymore landmine, for anyone that doesn't know. It's a landmine. Not a real one, but it's a landmine. And it's also a speaker. Here's the knobs, the volume, everything. I wonder if this is still got power. You heard that? Probably cool, kind of like a landmine, right? It's got an amazing quality, by the way, when we play this. Like I don't know how much juice it has, but if we could sync it, very easy to sync. There is nothing like this on Amazon, right? Got a little design patent going on. Just model the Claymore. It's an existing Claymore. Cost, first round, like mold, everything, landed to FBA at around $15. 15. We're talking about sweet spot on price. If he would have launched the Bluetooth speakers that everyone else was looking at, like all this other stuff, he would have been selling a product like in the $25 range, $35 range, because we don't want to be as expensive as Beats and all these other people. Otherwise, you buy that other brand. So he's selling this for $90. Yeah, $90. Selling it for $90, right? Look at this, cheap packaging, right? And I forget the exact numbers, I wasn't ready to talk about this today, but anybody that does remember the exact numbers that I gave. Basically sold out, has done well over 100,000 in sales per month at this point. They're sold out though. Anyone want to take a guess at how much they spent in ads? I did their ads, by the way, but like,
20%.
Huh?
20%.
20%, so you're saying about 20,000. Anybody else want to take a stab at ads? That's a good one. That would have been, I'd love that. A person would have me as a pedestal if I could do that. And you know what? Come on, take some guesses here. Let's play with this. This is the last thing we're going to do. 30%. 30%. All right. At the end of it all, we spent under $300.
Did you
Yeah.
take a risk and order like 10,000 pieces? 'Cause
No,
you
I wish
can't-
we
you
did.
can't ship it until
I
have
wish
it,
we
right?
did. No, we didn't. It was a much smaller amount than that.
But you didn't have it on Amazon or anything until you had the inventory here to fulfill it, right?
Correct. It was listed, and it was sent straight into FBA.
Did you go to the military people, to the veterans, to?
No.
No?
No, we did some keyword research. Again, if we would have went to the keyword research first to try to find this product, every single thing you can find on this product. And I might be able to bring the keywords and just dedact something, but I obviously need permission from the person to do that. But if you would have looked at the keywords for this on any of the tools that are out there, even now, right, even with me showing you the sales that are there, it would all tell you that this is a horrible purchase. Don't buy this product.
Don't buy this product.
No, that's a bad PL search. If you followed the criteria, that's the accepted criteria that's out there for private label products. The reason this thing sold is because the keywords they went after, or we went after, it was, I gotta think before I talk, because I gotta get, I don't know what this person's okay with me saying as well, so the keywords we went after were very, very niche keywords that went after a specific type of person that might be looking for something like this. And when you searched for those keywords, and this is critical, when you search for the keywords that you're going to be, that you think, I want to get sales when someone searches for this, you want to, and there's a tool out there now called Product Pinion, and the guy's going to be presenting on Online Seller Cruise. Whereas I love PickFu for testing, what Product Pinion does is you'll say, here's my search. Here are all my competitors that come up. Now do this same page, model it, and stick my product in on position 2. And then have somebody look at a full mock-up of a page and say, what would you buy? What catches your eye? Almost like a hot map, like a heat map. This killed it next to anything in the top half of the page. I mean, think about it. Like, imagine going up on the page and you search for wireless Bluetooth speaker and you saw this. How would you not stop? So anyhow, what I'm saying is when you're doing your private label product, the sweet spot starts coming in at $100. This was 90, and you want to differentiate if possible. So like even if you found like a board, like a table game, and say the table game was a large table game, right? Everyone's like, no, don't sell that, it's oversized. Yeah, well, you know what? Invest some money into re-engineer, I call it IKEA-ing this thing, right? Re-engineer this to where maybe it's in 3 pieces, and you can put them together and package it like that and assemble it so it's no longer oversized. You know what I mean? Like, where possible with your product. But do something different and differentiate on the product and be in the 100+ range.
Did you make those?
You're in a really good spot.
Did you make those in China?
Yes. well, as of right now, you're making this in China. Anybody in the world wants to make something like this, you're pretty much going to China, unless you want to sell it for $400. And I didn't make the rules on that. I really wish that was not the case.
Only one question.
Yep.
In the
Only one.
marketing side, you would just the PPC or TikTok ads.
Never got to it. Yeah, we're going to do all that. But no, we never even got to that. We're out of stock.
But for the launch, it was just PPC.
Just PPC.
You say you will.
I'm sorry, and I think in the launch, once we saw it was going viral, I think when I talked to the group about it, I think we were at like $60 in ads or like $40 in ads, like disgustingly low number. I don't recall the exact. You remember what the number was, Tom, when I was saying it?
Like 60, $80?
Yeah, we were at that spot at that point. And it's not that we stopped. It was just killing it organically.
Okay, did you say, I wish I order more?
Yeah.
Did you order more?
Oh yeah, no, more's already on the way. But yeah, with hindsight, you know. So I think it was a very calculated risk. I feel much less nervous when we're going into like a product launch if the product is differentiated and we did do something different versus we just hope somebody will buy ours for $5 less. Okay. And like we're not a scroll stopper on the page. So I wasn't nervous going into this. I think we'll do even better next time. You know what's going to happen though? Eventually, we're going to see pages of Play More Mind Bluetooth speakers. But we already have some ideas on like what to do on that. You can't think you just own it forever. There's a lot of different things you could do.
So you say with the new Amazon, with all the fees and everything, with the FTA or FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, how much do you believe it should be the product like the profit? Like $50 now, $60 is what you, maybe we need to try to find a profit like that per product?
Well, that's an amazing question. For anyone listening that if you weren't close enough to the speaker, it was like what profit mark, like basically what dollar amount are you looking at per sale?
You said right now with all the rules we
No, okay, so what I'm talking about is with the higher dollar amount products, like the $100, $250, usually the percentage of that's your cost of product is usually like much lower than that. So it leaves like this healthy margin. So there's so many exceptions to this. So like, don't hold my feet to the fire, but the majority of people I know that sell a product for $100, like the high end, they're landed to FBA at 30. Like, that's huge. Now look at that as you're selling a product on Amazon for $24.99. You have a $5 off coupon, and you're landed to Amazon for $13. Now all of a sudden, you need like, it's like an all hands on deck PPC situation. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not a lot of meat there. You could be God's gift to ads, and like, if you have a product that sells for $15, you're going to have an ACoS that makes someone want to cry without knowing the whole story. Versus you have a product that sells we're selling humidors for like $150, $200, and our PPC wasn't that great in the beginning, But we had like a 1% ACoS, and it was like, yeah, it was like your cost per click was 60 cents, and you were selling a $200 item. So it's not when you're selling a higher ticket item, you probably have a lot of built-in profit margin. And the thing is, and this is an advantage for PO wholesale hybrid as well, when you're able to sell a product for more than what your competitors are selling for, yeah, you're not going to be the number one that sells the most volume, but you're the one with the fat bank account making the good profits, right? And trust me, like it is no bueno. Like the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get accepted to these like mastermind groups because you do high volume, and everybody there gets to like act like they're the biggest thing in the world, but they don't make any money, they don't make any profits. So like you don't want to be that top one. So like at those higher dollar amounts, you're gonna make bigger profit margins. You can spend more on ads. You can drown out your competition. That's sweet. That's an amazing spot to be in on Amazon. I'm talking fast and I'm getting passionate about this part.
What would you consider a high click rate?
Oh God.
$2
I'm sorry?
For that high $150.
$150 a click?
No, I'm talking about $150 price range.
On the $50, it depends on the category, but there's some tubs of supplements that, if I wanted to come up with an extreme example, like you could get like a weight gainer supplement or like a something in that range at the fat burner supplement, and you could be paying $30 a click. Yeah, but their whole model is just get you to use it and get on subscribe and save. Right. They're not starting with a $500 budget. They're like, it's a totally different game. Like there's some brands that we'll do the ads for, and the only time we get in trouble is like, you didn't max out our spend. Give a hoot about the ACoS or the tacos or anything. They just want exposure. Amazon is an awareness play for them. you know, max out the spend. So it's a totally different beast there, but we're not there. What else we got? We got 2 more minutes. Anybody take anything away from this? Is there anything you learned from any of these steps? Like, here's the thing, don't try to go over the next 18 months and do $1 million in sales. It's possible, but again, you should be focused on profits. But I'm hoping that by seeing this, you know, like in 2024, it is still just as good as ever to start a brand. Amazon is still a great launch pad for a product, but you should be thinking off Amazon, right? Remember when we got to this PL thing at the end on this last step, you had been doing almost a year of building a content site. You have an email list at this point. You got all kind of stuff going on for you right now. You're probably making money off that email list at a minimum with like affiliate links and stuff like that. You know, you're probably making some AdSense costs that are offsetting your content creation on your site. So like a lot of cool stuff is going on. You're in a very strong position at this spot with PL. So hopefully you see like there's these other things that you can do along the way. We had some side conversations that like what if situations that I hope were helpful for some people. And the other one, I just saw Rafa, so I thought about when you do go to launch these listings. Oh, by the way, I don't know, have you guys met? Well, that's Share It Studio. Yeah, you guys did some stuff together. Yeah. But you can actually invest in quality images and video instead of like sitting there with your $500 trying to order product for PL and get some amazing 3D renders and photos and videos. It doesn't work. The math doesn't add up. All right, if there's no other questions, we can wrap up. You got a question?
If you're going to build a brand, you need to do a trademark. Now the trademark is during like 10 months or something like that. Even 1 year. So
right, so if you have the question is if you have a brand, you get a trademark, but that the trademark process takes 8 months, 10 months, or a year. So that's correct. It does take that long currently in the US, but as it pertains to Amazon, you can go in through their brand accelerator program and you can get access to all of the brand registry features and be treated as if you have your trademark by doing that in usually under a week or 2. Since you've already done the trademark process, you just have to come in through the back end and show them that, and they'll give it to you now. The only thing you're not going to be able to take advantage of is the transparency program, but most brands don't. So like so just think about it. You get to take advantage of everything you need to as a brand on Amazon: sponsored brand video ads, a branded storefront, brand story, posts, everything. Just by basically raising your hand and connecting through Amazon and verifying that you are the brand owner of this, and you can do that without the trademark being fully registered yet. Yeah. If you contact me afterwards, I can send you a link, or you just look up Amazon brand registry, and they'll take you to the site where you can do it.
Thank you.
Yep. And we have an expert now on brand registry in the back, which is Ting, who's gone through all the steps. She went through the hardest process in the world for brand registry, but congratulations to Ting for persevering and getting approved.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It wasn't easy at all. It took us 5 months and 6 months actually.
And a lot of back and forth messages.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then plus a lot of money. That's it.
Yeah. All right, so remember, next Saturday, we do not have a meetup. Well, let me tell you that. This Wednesday, we have a meetup. It's already posted on the platform. We're going to be at the Tropical Plant International Expo on Wednesday. This Saturday, we do have a meetup next Saturday, but it's not here. We're having it at the kickoff party for Online Seller Cruise. Even if you are not going on the cruise, you are welcome to attend. I encourage you to attend. You're going to be able to meet a lot of people that are in town, and they come from all over the world, literally. I think from everywhere except Antarctica. That you're going to be able to meet a lot of people there that you haven't met yet, but you've seen online in the space, or you've seen speaking somewhere, that is at Champion Sports Bar. And what's the hotel? The Marriott. Courtyard Marriott, yeah. So all the details are on the meetup. It's free to attend. Yeah. 6:30 or 7. It's on the meetup. Don't hold me on that. I'll look it up as soon as it's out, but it's at 6:30 or 7. Again, I encourage you to attend even if you're not going. Maybe you'll want to go the next year. Maybe you could just connect with somebody while they're in town. Sunday, we set sail on Online Seller Cruise, so the following Saturday, we're going to be at sea. Can't attend there. When we return, the next meetup that we have is going to be here after, so it's like the 3rd. It's like February 3rd. No, I don't know. I think there's Yeah. Yeah, February 3rd, right? February 3rd, and it's going to be here, and that one is going to be completely on the Amazon Influencer Program. I'm trying by then, I don't know if it's going to be here, but one of the things we're going to add is we're bringing in a stand-up desk here with a bunch of like different levels of camera that you can use, like a little stand, so we could do some actual like best practices for taking some of these videos, and just helping somebody who's stuck and is too intimidated by the process. With retail arbitrage a long time ago, we used to go to the store together as a group, and it's super easy just to go in the store and scan something, but a lot of times people are too intimidated to do it. When you see somebody else do it, it becomes a lot easier. So hoping to achieve the same thing with the Amazon Influencer Program, and hopefully we have that here by then. But am I missing anything? For those of you that are going to Online Seller Cruise, I highly recommend at least swinging through the Champion Sports Bar the night before to get the swag.
Make sure your excursions are purchased.
Make sure your excursions are purchased. One of our sponsors is Stealth Sipper, which is Tom's brand. So anybody that is going, I'll show you guys offline. We have some of them here, but we have a cosmetic line that Tom usually uses for his hair. But they are actually dummy cosmetics that can be filled with alcohol, that have built-in funnels and everything for smuggling alcohol onto the cruise. So it's called Stealth Sippers, the brand. So you could support by just buying it and leaving a good review. If you're going to the cruise, there's a limited amount, but the only way you can get it, obviously, is if you attend the night before, so that you could go on the cruise with it or give it to your wife or whatever you're going to do. If we're not going to the ship with a suitcase full of smuggling devices, right? So like you have to get it the night before. All right, we're not doing that. And I think
if you're not going, go next year.
yeah, if you're not going, swing by.
February already is already booked. February the.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some appetizers for the table, and I'm not gonna say no, you can't have a wing because you're not going on the cruise. So like, just eat something. You'll have some drinks. Meet a lot of people there. Hang out. It's gonna be real high energy.
But it's sold out now.
The cruise is sold out, and it's been sold out for a few weeks. But and this might not even be true anymore. There's cancellations every day. At some point, they reach a spot on the ship, and that's like it. But like, there's cancellations every day. If you do call them, you might be able to snag a cancellation. People have been doing it every day. But you'd have to act like lightning fast to do that, because I mean, it
happened to me last year.
yeah.
Like,
And he was a speaker.
Oscar at Meetup. So he says, I got it.
Yeah,
It's like,
and he did. So yeah, it's not too late. There's still people getting on the ship. It's just
Last week, we need to go home. Tell me about
Oscar.
Oscar. No, if you're interested, I'll give you Oscar's number.
Okay.
You just reach out.
He's a representative that takes care of our
Yeah.
group in Cornwall.
Got it.
I had someone who was on that call every day listening and just got on.
Yeah, people are getting on every day. I'm hearing from you. I finally got on.
There's hope, there's hope.
There is hope, but you really have to act now. And we leave January 21st through the 28th.
You book it now, so you don't
Right.
have this problem.
And we already have that one set up. We're going to announce the 2025 cruise too, but you should do both if you can. It's amazing. Like the speakers that are on there, it's good. All right, I'm rambling. I'm just excited about all this. I hope this really helped. We're gonna cut the stream right now, but we're gonna stay and network for anybody that does want to stay and just catch up, talk about the cruise and everything else that's going on. So thank you so much for coming out. Happy New Year. Yeah, man.
So, absolutely. So if I type, if I type in wizard, I'm trying to understand how they're grouping.
Yeah, no, so South Florida.
That's what they're grouping.
You could ask him, maybe this is just a dummy. Maybe the thing is that was a small. Ask him.
Or Wizards of Ecom. Part of the program where
I'm the lady.
E.
¿Prefieren en español?
It's looking in Toronto. I should have Toronto. So you gotta change your, change your location. Yeah, use your location.
Wow. So I'm gonna try this Wizards again. Still looking for cities. Current location. Okay, I hit current location.
Just say Miami. Just put Miami. Oh, here, there you go. There you go, right there. That's your reasons.
It says Wizards of Ecom Miami.
There you go, right there.
So is that where we are right now?
That's where you are right now. And join an RSVP.
Yeah. So that's the one that's going to be.
Well,
that's February 3rd.
So joining the group is. Let's see. How do you join the group?
And that's. But how about the? So if I go back though, I should see the.
You should see the. How do you get to the group?
Off to the Wizards.
No, that's not it. This is the group. That would be a.
How do I get review?
Yeah, join SVD. That's the join. So is that the setup for the group? Part of the pro network. This is
Vamos a ver. Entonces, lo que tú harías es justamente aquí hay un pero no todos los listings necesariamente tienen video. La mayoría sí tienen, otros y aquí está el cambio. Empezamos a suponer que nosotros somos curadores de atletas, tú le das aquí.
somehow. I had trouble with this app.
I'm going to ask
It
Carl
used
just to
to,
make sure I'm all set up.
yeah. This is the thing that Keith is the kind of guy. If he was sitting there, his mind would be done.
His mind would be, he'd be on to the next $100 million business.
He would.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him out here.
I'm trying to get him out here.
But this isn't really about Carlos selling his services. This is
it's how to.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. I mean, what I learned here, I didn't figure out on YouTube videos. Just used to watch them.
Yeah.
why I used to think about locations for one year, I want to go back.
The Meetup app is fine, right?
¿Contento?
Y verás eso. No, tú la pasas, pero es muy inteligente.
Tener que
a tener que ir para...
Not bad.
Yeah, we're 3.5, 4 months. We'll be here till mid-March. And then back to Toronto. We're already coming. You're the reason for all the traffic. You do? The snowbirds are coming. The snowbirds are here, actually. Once that rock starts staying here, it's down. Where's home?
But it come back down. Don't go anywhere. You're gonna go somewhere, come tell, go, and then like, I'll be back in an hour.
My kids, they're now 19.
We tried it with this one, pero de casualidad lo que compramos acá está y ahí estaba con una cara ya estaba bro, nothing impresses me. Entró a bunch of people. This guy, that was the one that had the backwards on the freaking I had one with they have a water show. I can hit that. This is you.
I was born at the beginning.
Not impressed. Not impressed. They're not impressed. Oh, I thought it was
The site has a glitch sometimes for Meetup, which
Good to see you. It's not a and then all And then when we started, we were all free. But then we had some kind of economic entity that's some $50 membership, which is access to all the unlimited
Sit here, your brain starts rolling.
I couldn't afford to go.
That's why no, I think in general,
there is and I told them I say who they are. I know that you're doing it. It's a blessing.
Last year, you got to come. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I will be a stranger. Reach out for me.
We appreciate it. Yeah.
thanks, guys. Bye.
Friday is the only day because déjame saber cuando yo log in to summer session. So Friday we're not saying no to the air, but the network is WOE free. Yo no limpio. Perfecto. I've never even flushed it.
My friend wanted to come in, he wants to go Thursday, he got it close out of Chicago, or last week. He wanted to go down to Lake, because he got a spot, down to Lake. He's lost the ticket. It was gonna be a Pues bien, then when I looked at it, I'm like, wait, it's not looking too good, it looks like 3.5, 4 feet. A las 2 de la mañana.
And you know why I don't do it?
Oh, yes, he's got a 36 hours. Yeah.
That's why I don't do salt water.
I like to go to the beach fishing, but I go down, I fish on the town.
Ya no puedo last week in Center Center.
So are you really diligent on that right now?
Before you get to chocolate, you got the little side, like a little bracket corner.
Football is in Kansas City, minus 22 there. So they don't tell you
No tanto. Pero yes, close.
Trying to convince them. Yeah, trying to convince them for next year.
I give up the group because if not, man, you know, if I go up.
In the half hour,
He's making the he's making the excuse of the kids. It's okay. I thought they were Cuban. Yeah, I thought they were Cuban family. They have like tías and abuelas and yeah.
Support. You know what? Now, actually, you're up.
No.
That's a good idea. You're gonna be out. I mean, if you don't want to. When you're
Be careful, that's so messed up.
I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I have everything already.
Bring a lot of ties, a lot of things.
No, I'm gonna put it for next year.
It's a surprise. I want to see you.
So what?
For all when we're on the ship.
It's a one-way trip. When we get to the Red Frog, I gotta stay in there. No, next year, hold on, la fecha que dice para el año que viene.
No, it's it's his kid's birthday. He even goes, see, he's a man in that house, but he's a man.
You're pushing it. See, you say, hey, watch out, the camera's not on.
Oh my God, did I turn it off? No, let me go turn this thing off. I was just kidding, babe.
It's not the first time you said it.
Oh my God, it's going.